On our last great adventure into Avernus, you all made your way through the dungeon, and in a moment where you think you may have lost a party member, some hope still holds out that perhaps they were just teleported somewhere else in Avernus, as the balance of transferring between planes right now seems a little bit skewed. Whether or not this is more of a detailed case is something you will need to look into further, because that is a secondary problem compared to the lich you found yourselves bumping into. The party, after blasting the door down, slowly creeped in to where the lich kept its home. As he revived, they did not attack. They did not take the underhanded, dirty route of just, laying into the bad guy before they have time to fully get up. And in return, he parlayed, seeing strong adventurers. He did one of the smartest things you'll ever see one of my bad guys in D&D do. He paused and decided to talk his way out of a situation rather than risk destruction at what could be powerful hands. I mean, after all, you blew off a door that's been holding him for 500 years, and since you were willing to talk, he was ever so grateful that you let him leave, so that he might return to his home, appeasing to your better nature as players. Some muse that perhaps this'll bite us again in the ass someday. However,
No. We determined not fighting him in the lair would be the better play.
yes, you're thinking someday later on he might bite us in the ass, specifically. As he was leaving, as we recall, Dean took a moment to tap his imp on the shoulder and said, "Oi." And the imp's like, "Yeah, I'm going, boss, don't you worry." Immediately fades out, turns invisible, flies behind. During this time, the party was searching the throne room, as you recall. You found some treasure, you found some gear, you found a magical sword, you found a magical suit of full plate. It was a magical short sword and full plate, wasn't it, Jade? I'm asking you, Dan, because you know everything with the items I say.
Yeah.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure I didn't
Magic short sword, magic full plate, spell book, which is still listed there for all the spells, 2 regular long swords, a regular mace, and 10 javelins, which we put into the efficient quiver.
Perfect. So with that, Kamishag would communicate back to Alec as they're leaving. And he's like, boss, this guy a little creepy. I'm on my way back, but it's a little creepy. And he explains to you that as the lich was leaving, as he stepped out of the crypts, he took a long, deep breath of the stagnant, swampy air that fills the area, permeating every inch of ground. His chest heaved and swelled as he inhaled, and as he slowly exhaled, that creepy face of his appeared to twist as if carrying yet another smile beneath those tendrils on his face. And he mused about how long it had been since he had smelled the delicious swampy air of Avernus. And then muttered to himself that it is very rare he gets to see quite such an old soul, and it would have been so delicious to devour one that it exceeds the lifespan of the average mortal. And then, as he grabbed your invisible imp around the waist, he glares at him and says, "You remind them I did not, because I could have," and nods his head. "Be on with you, little one." And you let your imp go. And then warned the imp as he was retreating. The door isn't going to hold that monster much longer, by the way. And with a laugh, the lich absconded his throne, walking away into the night eternal.
Okay, next time I see him, he's dead. He manhandled my imp.
The imp says, "I peed myself a little. I thought I was gonna go poof." I think he literally just grabs him, says, "I know you're there the whole damn time," and lets him fly away. Which doesn't come as too much of a surprise. Blind sight, true sight, magic sight. Or maybe your imp just smells bad. I don't know.
I mean, It's probably a little of all three. Okay.
Rhea, meanwhile, will take a moment just to finish off on the DM's long explanation, to pat Nimbar on the shoulder once, and mutter, "You watch your old ass, he's coming for you."
Wouldn't be the first. Probably won't be the last.
Well, sounds like your door's going to collapse soon.
Just 1 second. There we
Flux
go.
will just say, well, we better move quick then.
Hmm.
Oh, no, that's the
Hustling.
wrong way round. Sorry. She Jillian. Just I got surprised because Alec jumped on the back of his imp rather than.
You just hear a splat, and he's like, "I need 10 minutes." Gotta bring him back.
Actually, Find Familiar is like an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
It's a little different for druids because the
Oh,
wild
right,
shape
yeah.
thing you just you just cast it.
For wizards, it's find familiar. For druids, it's found familiar. So Flux is making her way back out. Is the group
Wait.
gonna make a jog of it at a decent pace to get out of here quickly?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I think so too. We'd be hustling.
Absolutely.
He is not there, right?
What's this now? Oh, yeah,
This
no.
guy.
He was just back that far. I forgot to move him off. So I'm going to take...
Yeah, no, that's fair. I just got there and see him there. I'm like, oh, we're not actually having to fight him again.
So I'm gonna grab Flux and I'm gonna run her. And I'll move your minis to catch up, but at least this way you can see where you're going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I run you through a wall, you see more, but it's a little more exciting this way. And I'll be playing some chase music or something as it comes down to it, but the real question is, with that monster moments from breaking through the protective barrier, you know, the door, set in place, are you all fast enough? I use Flux because she's the front runner. She's the tank. And gonna be her. Wait. You know what? Forget it. It's been a fun dungeon. I'm just gonna direct move. You can see everything. Whee! But that way I run Flux around. So then, as you're all going forward, everybody give me the most dreaded of checks.
Initiative?
Athletics.
Oh.
Flux just jogging along. Hup, 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 hup. Probably Rael's jogging along too. They both have great...
Done it again.
stats.
Oh, I rolled a 1. I got cocky and I was punished for it.
Still a 13. Jesus.
Ha! Never is better than Flux!
Jade got a 20 on that one. Let's see now. Jeez, you're all doing pretty
I
good.
just have to laugh because
I got sadness chan for that one.
So our two... Wait, Rhea 1d20... Jeez! How is it the two players who should have the highest, even though Rhea's not a player? I think Rhea has the highest athletics next to Flux. I would assume, anyway. Most of you aren't
I would
fighter
assume.
grade. She has a plus 10 to athletics, because it's one of her 3 trained skills. That, animal handling for some god-awful reason, because I'm cruel, and perception. Someday you're gonna meet something in Avernus. She'd be like, "This is my pet this time, guys. Hang on." I bite her hand off. She'd be like, "I got." Oh, so I don't.
Wait, did Rhea make a check?
She did. She got a 13. I threw one up for her. Oh, it went private, even though I said public. There you go.
No wonder I can't find it.
I have overrides. My override
Yeah.
overrided the options as they came up. So then, as
I
you
got
all-
sadness chan on that one.
Oh,
Who
what
needs
did you
skill when you have luck?
get?
That's nice. And she's cranky too about those ones, the little picture she gives. As y'all charge forward, you can see the doors being slammed on, with that red ooze squeezing around the edges and the corners. It doesn't look like it's gonna hold long. However, with your high athletics checks, you all certainly can jog straight past without slowing anything or anyone down. You don't even have to roll for Constitution. to see if you get a stitch in your side as you're going, like, I'm not used to running. Wait up, folks. But I'd say that, but instead it's Jade who's, like, already at the door, like, hopping from foot to foot. Come on, guys, you must learn how to run quickly. He's probably got a decent athletics, does he? You get
Plus
+5. Not bad. I like it.
But the other thing is, if we're going to hustle and everything, I can move, and dash, and then feline swiftness. And come on, guys, keep up.
Yeah, never challenge.
Meanwhile, Nimbar with his little legs. I'm coming.
It's alright. I think Bellamy got the lowest overall, so she'd be holding up the rear, but not even badly, because everyone is at 12, 13-ish. Except a couple of you scorched it with 18, 20, and 25. You three are at the front, everybody else is at the back looking confused. But
everyone's like watching the little gnome like running at the front.
I'm reminded.
I'm out of here!
Not that any player is cowardly, but I'm reminded of Shaggy. Like, damn, he can move. He's not the toughest in the group, but damn, he can move. I just get that joke because of how quickly you're all going through theirs. So that's a good time. I'm having me a little fun, but that's honestly a good time. So you all make it out the main doors before whatever the hell that creature was breaks its way through the other doors. The smell of swamp permeates through the air. Sorry, I couldn't help myself on that one. Let me just tone down the dungeon ambiance. Now that you're not in the defiled temple anymore. But here's a question for you. Who parked the boat?
42.
42 did not park the boat.
Who parked the boat?
Yep.
I mean, I probably did, because I have vehicle training and I would normally drive it.
And where's Crickendall?
Crickendall's back in the camp,
So
traveling thing.
what allies do you have, if any, on the boat?
Did the Lich take our boat?
As
There was two homunculus there, so obviously they had it covered. The mighty homunculus.
As you make your way back to your boat, even though flying airship, but I call it a boat, you can see what appears to be a group of devils, as I've changed the maps, as you can see, to lava fields. You can see what appears to be a group of bearded devils, none of them Crickendall, sadly, standing, walking around the deck of your ship, one at the back, messing with the controls. Every now and again, you see the wings turn and twist, and then the center blade twist and turn for the rudder, and then you see the rear jet kick on and off a little, but never in much tandem with each other. With this group as they putter around and look, the two in front appear to be looking and scavenging through the ship, and on the ground, a large, horned devil stands.
Isn't that our boat?
I was hoping I could show him do the show picture, but it doesn't quite work the way I was hoping. I have to go in through a different direction, I believe. So just give me 1 second here. But that is totally your guy's boat in the distance.
Does anyone want to be a dinosaur so we could be impressive?
Me.
On this note, you would recognize the design of a horned devil for sure. Bellamy, you would have seen one in action, but you would have never actually bumped into one specifically. They're just frontliners in war. Who gives a crap about them? You deal with bosses. But
Yeah.
you've seen them flying overhead. The rest of the party, except Nimbar and except, I almost said Damokos. Now I feel bad. Except Nimbar, would most certainly recognize a horned devil after dealing with the infamous Bitter Breath, one of the warlords of Avernus. He was a horned devil as well, without any wings, torn asunder as punishment by Zerial herself. I'll throw his picture up for reference. However, This specific horned devil, in his audacious form, has long since been foiled and slain by the party. Kind of, anyway. He was a
Dusty.
bit of a terror. He was the fiend that was supposed to kill Dusty in the story. But the players prepped Dusty too well. Ours.
Dusty was our boy.
There was 3 points in the stories where Dusty basically came up to the party. One time he had 290 gold when the first time they visited JM, the guy selling stuff. And he says to the party, I need 10 more gold to get a strength potion. Could someone give me 10 gold? And they're like, oh, buddy, we'll cover you. Don't worry. He's like, no, I'm a man. I'll pay for myself. So they bought him a potion of strength. At one point as well, he gained advantage and held it. And he gained that at the start of the game. And the third thing he did was he asked for a pair of winged boots that the party won. With those 3 items together, he won by 1 turn against a pit fiend, essentially, which is what Bitter Breath became after Bitter Breath stole one of his 2 swords that was sealed away in Avernus, something the party had been hunting for. Always seems to be these swords that bring you all back and around to it. The sad thing about Bitter Breath, were as fun as he was, if you search Bitter Breath Avernus on Google, my mini that I built for him comes up as one of like the first results. I put his picture up there too.
Ooh. That's cool.
Oh, cool.
It was a shame. I showed it to Dean. I was like, check this out, man. And he goes, holy crap, that is... And I was like, yeah. And then we never got to use it. Damn you, COVID.
Still stinks.
Yeah. I still got him. He's sitting in a closet. It was fun to make him. Especially curving the horns forward the same way. But I digress. I'm just going on a little bit of a flashback because I'm pretty sure on seeing a horned devil, at least one party member would go, ugh. So the question is now, what do you do? Oh, damn, I clicked on the ship. You notice if you click, the ship's an actual mini, so if I click on it, other minis go on top of it, or below it, so I gotta do this and move them back around so it looks nice.
This won't stand. We can't have this.
Flux will take a couple steps forward and be like, hey, you know that's not your ship, right?
The horned devil, standing at your ship, turns his eyes back, chuckles, and says, an abandoned vessel in the middle of Avernus? It's ours now.
Flux will just kind of grin, and I'll try to intimidate them and say, listen, you really don't want to pick a fight with us. I suggest you give the ship up freely, or you're about to meet your end.
Alrighty. And the whole party's at the front line there with you. So you go ahead and roll an intimidation check. Flux is like, I've been waiting for this.
Can I
Alex.
assist her?
Sorry, what was that, Bellamy? Courtney, for Bellamy?
Can I assist her because I'm proficient in intimidation?
Yes, you can. That'll give her advantage. And Dean, were you about to say something there?
I was going to say, Alec puts his hand on Flux's shoulder like he's going to try and hold her back. Like she's going to go mental so he can cast guidance on her.
Oh, hang on, though. You're not quite done yet for your bonuses, Flux.
Okay.
Because Rhea twitches angrily. And you even hear from the shield, what fresh hell is this? That's my chariot. Who the hell do they think they are in all the lures of Avernus? As the shield suddenly pulses. If you notice its last power...
Oh.
I'm gonna bend its rules. I know it says it's a 20-foot range. I'm gonna say the party is considerably closer. And I'm gonna say it targets direct at that as Rhea just takes 2 steps forward and the shield radiates out its power. You know, this is thematics at this point. The map that's down here isn't meant to be a representation of what's going on, not actual combat. Chances are you are probably standing closer to here-ish, because, you know, it's your damn boat. Like, they're not getting away with this. So he triggers his aura of dread, which radiates outward. Come on, just let me grab the one dude. There we go. So let's give him a DC 18 Wisdom savings throw, first and foremost. I'm just going to do this as normal. Let me just double check here. He unfortunately... Rhea just looks cool for a second. Well, the shield looks cool as it turns jet black and a pulse lets out. So, so Flux ended up with 16 total for her intimidation, which I am going to counter with this guy's having a private roll this time. Just so you know, I'm not lying. He got an 18. So he just skims past, but he takes pause, turns and folds his arms over his chest. Who the hell do you think you are in all of the 9 hells to order me, mortals? You are lucky I do not flay you where you stand and throw your bodies to the lava.
You wanna know who we are? We're the people who kicked Zariel out of hell. We're the one who grind people like you into fucking dust.
Oh, Alec!
And the
Get
smile
away
on his
from
face.
my friend's fucking boat, or I will rain down fiery fucking hell upon you. You will need to get Celestial Injunction to stop me from fucking you up.
And you see the smile slowly spreads on his face as you get more angry, and he turns and he says, "The rules of Avernus are quite clear. There was no one on this vessel. It was abandoned, and we have claimed it." And he spreads his arms wide. Maybe you are the fools who defeated Zariel. Maybe you aren't. But what I can guarantee you, during this time of peace, should you have the audacity to attack any fiend on the surface of Avernus, you will have Asmodeus to deal with, and I would much rather deal with those who slayed Zariel than a god. So yes, I will call in celestial and divine protection, because this abandoned vessel belongs to me now.
Well, if it was abandoned, where are the 2 homunculus that were left on it?
And you see a sickening smile spread across his face. We found no 2 delicious homunculus on this ship. No, nothing. Nothing you can prove, anyway.
What is a homunculus in D&D? Because I know what it is in Fullmetal Alchemist, but I don't think they're the same thing.
Kind of a copy of the bear, but it looks ugly and small. If you know American Dad, I'm going to use this as a bad one. I'd say Rogu is a good example of a homunculus. Even though he's mostly a child, he's kind of a duplicate of Roger, but really dumb.
Yeah, okay.
That sort of thing. They were little goo balls that followed the party for a while.
Love it. Well, are we going to kick some ass, guys?
They said they just need to be on Avernus. What if they were in the air in Avernus?
Well, Flux will say a little bit more quietly to Alec, if this truly is a time of peace, perhaps they could give some wayward travelers a ride on our ship. How could they say no? Surely Asmodeus would not. What are they going to do? Fight us if we try to board the ship? Surely they wouldn't break the peace. Flux will take a couple steps forward.
I was just going to reverse gravity so they're off Avernus and then.
You do what you're going to do. I'll give a wide berth.
Do you know what I mean? They won't technically be on Avernus. That's Dusty's ship. That is Dusty's.
I mean, I'd say something for Rhea, but
Dusty ship.
yeah, that's pretty much her right now. Just, I'm ready. I'm the supporting party here. What do I do?
No, but if I
Flux.
do that, the ship will go flying up in the air, so that's not sensible.
I say we just walk right up there and take her and board the ship. If they truly believe in peace in Avernus, surely they won't do anything to stop us. She just keeps walking.
And he's gonna hold up a hand as you're moving forward. Now, a transgression against my property immediately instigates you as the hostile party in negotiations. You do realize that, right? He says as the smile stays wide. You can tell this guy is up there in the demonic legions because he knows his laws quite well. And he's holding his hand and says, I have ample rights to defend my property should I be assaulted by a third party. Should you start a fight during these peaceful times, well, that's unacceptable. Should you defend yourself? And his fingers crawl back in as his smile grows wider. As I mentioned, this is an abandoned vessel. No souls on board. It's mine now.
Not anymore, since you ate our homunculus, and she'll take another step forward.
And then he holds up his hands. I know not of these homunculus. I see no bodies. I see no frame. There is nothing on here. You have no claim.
Flux will just keep walking forward.
He doesn't give any ground.
Just gonna keep going. Surely you will, in this time of peace, honor these wayward travelers with passage upon your ship.
And why the hell would we show kindness in Avernus? You haven't been here long then, have you? Are you truly the ones who slayed Zerial? I question that.
Well, we can ask Asmodeus what he thinks, but surely there's no reason why you couldn't give these wayward travelers passage. I don't understand how that would be a violation of said peace. Surely if you believe in peace, then you'll let us board.
Oh,
Take another
I believe
step.
in peace. That is advantageous. But you're asking for kindness? And you see he has a disgusted look on his face as he spits to the side. Do you forget where you lie? If you were on the surface and I were on the surface and I said to you, oh, would you do me a kindness and stab this child so that I might sacrifice them to my power? Would you do that for a wayward traveler? It is simple. I have the child. Would you? Of course you would not. Because for you, that is anathema to the aspect of your being. And you're just asking me to help. And he starts laughing, as do the bearded devils, who then he immediately shoots a glare as they go back to trying to figure out how your machinations work.
Flux will step forward, go right toe-to-toe to him, and be like, so do something about it.
So
And
wait,
he
you said
holds chest to chest, stands up tall and proud, hands on his hips, and says, I don't have to. You've lost this encounter. Go ahead. Swing, he says quite firmly. I would love to see Asmodeus show up and teach you audacious mortals your place in the cosmology.
Alan, how much?
At this point,
Would-
everyone is also, now that you've gotten this close, Flux, not everyone, sorry. Before we get to you, John, I will in just a moment. Flux, now that you're this close to the ship, you can give me a perception check. And John, what's up?
How well would I know this time of peace, like the rules of it?
Not at all. This has never happened in the cosmology of Avernus. You don't even know if this
Okay.
guy's telling the truth.
Because I do have the clone on there.
Oh, and you'd be like, kill yourself and go and pull your clone up and be like, I'm here. You'd be like, that is a technicality. However, Flux, out the corner of your eye, now that you're standing by the hull of the vessel, in between the gaps in the bottom of the frame, you see one simple thing staring at you.
The drone. What's its name?
A mechanical eye. One singular mechanical eye.
And
A monodrone.
Oh my wild mother.
Just staring in between the cracks straight at Flux, and you catch it out the corner of your eye.
Oh. There you are. We were looking for you.
The
That's
demon
our
looks a little surprised.
that's
or the
our
demon
monodrone.
looks a little surprised as he leans back and he says, is that the name of your vessel?
No, it's the name of the person who is on our vessel, our monodrone. Because it's our car vehicle.
And you see that the
You see him
fiend
right there?
pauses, stops, slowly turns his head to look in, catches the eyes with the monodrone, who blinks at him twice, and then looks off in a different direction. He looks up towards the devils on top of the ship with him, the bearded devils, and he looks back towards the rest of you. And you can see just a look of utter contempt on the horned devil's face. Very well. It would have seemed that I was incorrect in my assumption of the status of such a fine vessel. And he leans down and forward to bring himself an inch from Flux's face so the two of you are staring at each other. You best be careful with your vessel in future, if you believe I am the only one who would take it. I would steal such a trip in a heartbeat to soar across the sails of the clouds of Avernus, to laugh in the face of Tiamat as I move along in such a thing. So you be wary, adventurer. Today you most certainly got lucky. I dare not draw out the wrath of Asmodeus. And he pauses and looks at the bearded devils, and you can see a look of anger on his face, unmatched. The cockiness, the arrogance, the superiority he had until this moment all but faded away in a singular instant. And he glares, "Get the hell off that vessel. It is not yours." And he looks back
Oh,
at
cool. Look what I found.
That was abandoned, wasn't it, Alec?
Yeah, there's nobody on here.
Oh, I just noticed in the pictures too, a general view of our view so far. For some captain, didn't you say we only 38 helic? I read the two of them turned out to be a mating pair. Excuse me, what? How does that work? Well, when two torpedoes love each other very much. What is this stuff I'm missing in the off-topic? Gotta go back there later. Oh my. So, without any further complaints or moves or motions from the party, the devils will actually move off, back to their strange machinations they have in their vehicles as they mount, ready to leave. So as long as the party doesn't do anything to stop them.
No, if they're leaving willingly, we'll let them.
Well, isn't this my bike now? That's the rules.
Yeah, that should fit on our ship, Alec.
Well, you do have Bellamy's chained underneath it, which is basically taking up the max. And the horned devil's going to chuckle and nod his head. He goes, yes, yes. I do see the irony in your statements in regards to how you're pushing this. You have won today's encounter, he says with a nod. Take your victory, appreciate it, and be the good heroes you are. He looks at the druid to quote you, fuck right off. Shakes his head and walks away. He definitely looks a bit sour.
You still have a right to defend yourself.
Yeah, you did trespass on our property. Better hope we don't see you again. We'd hate to start a fight in this time of peace.
Is he leaving this bike?
He pauses, turns around, and puts with a pair of glasses on as what appears to be an infernal tome appears in his hand. Subsection 3, paragraph 5 of the instigation of law states that a vessel found on the surface of Avernus without any passengers is considered to be salvage and claimed by any who would come. However, should salvage prove to be inoxidated by traversing having people on it, then this is null and void. But a transgression is not inspired by trap unless... And he snaps the book shut and puts it away. We fight. And I'm in no mood. So unless you would like to start the fight, I do not wish to bring out the wrath of Asmodeus.
Flux is already getting on the ship.
He's probably blabbing through the book at this point. Everyone starts walking away and they're like, nerd.
Actually, Nimbar's like, I need to get a copy of that. Quick question. Is it possible to get a copy of that book somewhere?
Rude gesture is your response. Alec pissed him off pretty good. Alec cursed him out. He's like, you lose this fight. And he goes, no, I don't. Sees the monodrone, and he goes, damn it. How did I lose? Have a golden trophy in your hands, and it just gets snuffed away. But they will take their 3 vehicles and go with them. The bearded devil will jump right onto this ride, even if Alec's beside it. Give you a rude gesture and say, do something, as he rides off.
I do something. I druid craft I fling some seeds at him and druidcraft flowers to appear all over him.
Anybody watch the live-action Beauty and the Beast?
Unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry. I liked it. There was a
Courtney,
scene-
did we go see that together?
I think we did, yeah. I
think we
weird
did.
thing with Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
I fell asleep during it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually enjoyed it. I liked all of them, mind you. My wife loves them. But there's a scene near the end where the dudes get dressed up by the walking armoire. She turns three of the guys to be dressed up as ladies. One of the guys looks up and he has this look of, oh, thank you on his face. Like, this is so nice. Good job, Alec. That's repeated here in this instance. All the flowers and all that just sprout out all over his hair and all this. He looks himself over a few times. Big smile comes on his face and he muses, thank you, at you. And then jumps on his ride, hits the rev.
Does he thank us by telling us where to get a book?
No. He just glares. He's like, the DM is not going to type that up.
I mean, you don't have to type it up. I just... so that way, in future, Nimbar can reference the rules.
It's a totalitarianistic society, so... The rules are very cruel, and they're very much about acquisition. Actually, you know what? If you can find a copy of the rules of acquisition from Star Trek, yeah, by the Ferengi, that might be a good starting point. But that's why I always read out the rule as he comes up and says them, because they're not gonna be like, I'm using a rule. What is it? I'm not telling you. That's not fair. It's more fun to put it on the situation in that moment. God knows, though, if you fought, you might have met one of the gods. Probably would have been a bad thing, though.
I'm not convinced Asmodeus would have came to help him. Surely he's got better things to do than property law.
Like looking awesome.
Does D&D still have the stats for gods?
Not many, no. You can find certain things here and there, so it's hard to piece it together. They're very strict with that, though. Like, I've got a few things. Like, Rime of the Frost Maiden does include stats for the Frost Maiden herself, and it's a heck of a thing. But then they're like, but this is not the godly incorporeal form that can't be witnessed by mortals. That's far beyond blah blah blah. So I'm like, oh, okay, so I need to make a bunch of wonky rules. Thanks. I'm hoping something comes out, but I haven't seen too many rules for the god stats.
I don't know.
In 3.5, they definitely had the stats for the gods.
They had stats for Duerden back then, for God's sakes. Level 17 rogue. Or Ranger. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I checked out Zariel's stat block after we redeemed her, and if she's that powerful and she's just an archfiend,
yep.
I don't even want to know what a god can do.
Because Zariel's something in the 600-700
I mean,
HP range.
I do though. It's I love knowing. Knowing is
probably
power.
there's probably no stat block because it would just be like, yeah, you die.
Yep. There's no stat blocks for the gods in 5th edition. I mean, like 3rd edition, Bahamut, the lesser deity of the good dragons, had a strength of 53. So I mean, 1,378 HP as well on that guy. From deities and demigods. In 4th edition, Bahamut still had like 31 strength, and he was assigned a shocking 1,600 health, and that's from the Draconomicon, the metallic dragons. I don't think you're going to see them put the gods as stats in 5th edition, because it's a hard thing to quantify in this game, because they max you out at 30s for players. So the gods would all have 31 stats, in my opinion, you know.
At least.
I'm a 31 in strength. What? You can only do 30. I'm a god. Asmodeus shows up. I got a 50 in charisma. Just watch. By the time I'm done talking to you, you'll actually like me. So that's the sort of mind-numbing crazy you get from the gods. But, with that in mind, you have successfully removed these 3. And you made one really, really pretty devil. Oh, I gotta remove that lighting source. The engine was firing. You know how it works. Not create lighting. Deleted. Thank you. So you have, once again, acquired an airship. Pops right up on the screen in front of you all. Rhea gets the achievement now, as does Courtney's character Bellamy, as does John's character Nimbar. Just pops up, you get, oh, I got the achievement, sweet. Outside of that, the ship is undamaged, and as you go inside to check up on your monodrone. You see
We
his
still
heat.
have 3 devils, by the way.
Sorry?
We still have the devils here.
Oh, yeah. They're popping underneath it on mine, so I have to nuke them slowly.
Oh, okay.
One thing at a time.
Sure.
Layers of things change so easy, right?
Yeah.
When you get on the ship, you see your little monodrone eye pops up from behind the back of the bar, behind storage. You know, he really hidden well. And 2 more sets of eyes pop up on either side. You see the little homunculus with them.
Oh, they're not eaten.
Apparently not.
Okay.
They were hiding out with the little mechanical thing.
Alec begrudgingly walks up to the monodrome and goes, I see your value now. Gives him a little pat.
And he starts to shake. Vibrating even. Just... And then you hear a ping sound like a toaster going off.
Whoa, whoa,
Ew.
whoa,
Mouth opens.
whoa.
And you slowly see a red book slides out. He catches it with the offhand, holds it up to you, and just says, 1 copy, special price only, $99.99. It's got a blood red book with a giant letter K on the front.
Jade, we need your pouch.
Oh, anybody get the reference for the one-liner?
Mike the TV
Reboot?
from Reboot.
Yeah. I love being old. Then they did a horrible
Ow.
reboot of it.
That hurt.
Hey, we're not decrepit yet. But the
I
second
know,
you're
I'm
over
almost
21, you're old.
No, actually, it's 25. That's when you start dying.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Oh boy.
And Jade's like, hold on, I'm getting there.
Nimber, meanwhile, yes. Back when I thought that was dying. So what is this book?
We'll point out
Favorite.
after it spits out the book. It just starts looking around absently again, wandering the ship.
Nimber will grab the book and go through it.
So you flip it open to the first page.
Yeah.
And the book is dry, despite the fact that he just spat it out of his mouth like a toaster. It is completely dry. It appears he can manufacture them. But it's the first couple lines that make your character sort of pause as you realize you're not reading a magical tome. You're not reading a story of sorts. Nothing legendary in text. You appear to be reading what almost seems to be an autobiography.
Of the monodrone?
No. Of Straken Cavor. It starts at his life when he was a little kid. The first couple pages explaining, and it seems to be from a third-person point of view, someone watching from the outside. When he was just 11 years old and his home was attacked, ransacked, and destroyed, run through and ruined by goblins and orcs, and other fiends, before he was finally saved by Zariel. And if you thumb through quickly, you see it's actually a chronicle of his entire life. Flipping to the end, you see the ending that you remember. It would take quite a while to go through it. That's going to be something fun I type up and give to you all for next week.
Okay. That's cool.
Little monodrome crapped out a journal. What this
Oh my
is going
God.
to be, because I've been working on it the entire time we played Avernus, I just haven't had the time to type it up, so I'm going to try and type it up for next week, is going to be your run through Avernus through Dusty's eyes. So you'll also see a lot of the hidden information in the background, the little things, like the first time you went through a first dungeon with Dusty and you found the memorial showing Zariel had fallen, and I took a moment for him to just pause and look broken. I wonder what he was thinking, given that even back then I decided, yeah, that's Straken Cavor, the leader of the Hell Riders. Something to look forward to. I'm going to try and have it ready for next week. Oh, yep. Bellamy's grabbing herself the coffee. Still listening. She's probably like me with the wireless headset, but no mic near him. Though I was surprised. I got this Razer product, and I put it on Discord, and it says, "This is certified for Discord." And I'm like, my Yeti isn't? What the f- I've never seen Discord certified. I thought that was the coolest shit. But I digress. That's going to be a little something I type up as a sort of a thank you for running through Avernus for the team. I'm still
Nice.
working on it. I just haven't had the time because I've been busy. But I'm going to try and push it through for next week.
Nice.
That way you have something to remember that weird campaign. And it'll also give, if Courtney wants to read it, a read-through so she can see what the party's already done previously.
Nice.
But now you know the monodrone wasn't useless, apparently. I wonder what other tricks it's got up its sleeve.
Flux will pat him on the head again, see if she gets a different book.
He looks at her, blinks a few times, and seems to stare intently, and then looks away. Maybe Flux will
That's
get
worth
a
a
different
shot.
book. Maybe Flux will get her book.
Ooh, interesting.
Pop one out. It's for all 5, all 6, all 7, however many it is, party members. Pops out a book for Rhea. It's 1 page.
Oh, Jesus.
She's like, is this like a future prediction? He nods. Alright, I've had my fun.
Is it just me, Flux? Or is everyone being really aggro lately?
Roll an insight check.
My passive is 22.
You're the one being aggravated.
Oh.
Oh, I need to sidebar with some people.
Sorry, guys.
There's a few little fun scenes I'm gonna have points to put through in that little book too, like right off the get-go where Flux grabs him by the shoulder and he's like, no, I need your actual name, while the rest of the party's like, number 2 or number 3? Help me out on this one, John.
I want to say number 2.
I think it was number 2, so I'm going with that because that's what I think I remember. Everyone's like, no, he's number 2, and she's like, I need your name, and he's like, I respect this warrior, but I can't give her my name. So then I even had the joking in the real world, I have a name, and it's a good one, because he actually did say that, because he had to make one up on spot.
Yeah, he did.
That wasn't just a red herring. I loved it. Little things like that. And that actually got Flux, if I recall, you got inspiration for that moment, because that's my way of hinting, hey, you discovered more than you're supposed to. Having fun. But, big digress. This is probably about how long it's taken the party to go through their airship, check it over, make sure they didn't break, mess up, or destroy anything. Probably takes Flux a good 5 minutes to reconfigure the piloting back area here for the controls, or Jade, or whoever's gonna be there. Because, you know, you ever get in your driver's seat in a car after somebody's moved it? Just like that.
My clone is perfectly fine, right?
Perfectly fine. Yeah. You pop open it in its storage unit, and you're like, oh yeah, that's good. Close it back up.
Alright.
That mirror was a cool mirror. Produces clones for the clone spell.
Yeah.
Should we hire staff? Does Crickendall need a buddy?
I mean,
now maybe we should.
But who in Avernus do you trust?
Flux will kind of look at Rhea and then think better of it, because Rhea would be pissed if we excluded her from the narrative.
You could hear that.
To be honest,
to kill things.
I can think of one person that I might not trust, but we could have an uneasy understanding with.
Is that
the super red cap?
Oh yeah, Mr. Bean. So, Bellamy, I'll tell you this from the DM's point of view, because she probably asks Alec, Super Redcap, you know those beans that he uses to grow the tree, right? I don't know if she's back yet, she's still maybe getting the iced tea, but if you're listening...
She's probably listening, yeah.
Yep. Well, she said she was listening. I got that on her message. She's still listening, just away from computer. They, took a bunch of those beans, and one of the red caps just, mowed down a ton of them. And that should kill you, because of the way the beans work. But we decided, because we rolled a lot of dice and they all rolled stupid high. Instead, he basically got turned into a super red cap, which almost made him half as strong as a party member. But for a red cap, he's now walks around Maggie's base looking like a little Arnold Schwarzenegger, essentially. Just like, the other red caps all respect him and get him to open up all the jars. Because they're red caps, they're crazy. It's like...
Is Maggie's along the way?
Given where the map is, I'm going to switch back now since you have your ship. I'll switch us to the map so you can see. As of right now, you're down in this area, somewhere in the Black Swamp further back. And somewhere down here. Once you're all on that map. Mad Maggie's is always hinted at somewhere in this area, but never specifically designed, because she's not on the map anywhere. But she'd be within this area, and Bell's Forge is over here, so by flight, she's directly on the path.
Yeah, let's stop by Maggie's.
Going like this. Mind you, though, it's not 75 feet to Bell's Forge. Feels like it with an airship.
How long does it take us to get to Mount Maggie's?
Given your present distance and etc., it would be at least a 6-hour trip.
Well, I mean,
How about 7?
You can do 7.
Sweet. That way I can just learn all the spells.
we'll
I don't have to
probably.
figure it out.
And I will point out, as I believe I was a little wonky on it, but I set the date after we got the calendar working well. The 14th is meant to symbolize the last day of peace on Avernus.
By the way, for the record, I'm just gonna show you this, Ellen, because I'm sure you'll appreciate this.
And once Courtney's back, I'm gonna get her to roll a perception check.
If you go off-topic pictures,
Yeah, I see. That was the number of them, number of total levels. Nice. Yeah, you got a lot of work to do as a wizard. It's like whenever I have a brand new player to D&D and they're like, I'm gonna play the wizard, I lean forward and I'm like, are you willing to put in a crap ton of work? They're like, why? And I'm like, the wizard's the most complicated class, but it's one of the most fun if you like them.
oh yeah, I love it.
It's either, oh, that sounds fun, let me do it, and they love it, or they say, oh, I'm gonna play a barbarian. No offense to barbarians, but you know, they paid for 200 health, god damn it, like Flux, they're gonna use it. And I gotta say, do you know how hard you are to kill, Jillian? I've tried. I'm just gonna throw you off the airship one of these days to do the 20d6 damage, and then teleport you up and do it again. Do some cheap ass shit, and even then you're gonna be like, oh, it says I'm barely injured. Damn, you're 200 health. Oh, it's nice.
I'm sorry, you're going to what?
Oh, I said I was gonna throw her off the
No.
airship. No, you're gonna do Featherfall. That's why I said teleport and do it again. Bad guy used counterspell on you, blocks your Featherfall. You try to counterspell his counterspell. I got a second bad guy with spells. He counterspells too. Then Bellamy counterspells, and I start cursing. It's like, when did she learn? Oh my god, no. Well, actually,
Jake
you know
jumps
what I'd be
off,
saying.
grabs her, and dimension doors back onto the ship.
You better be careful with anything interdimensional or interplanial. You got no idea what's gonna happen now.
Ooh boy, that sounds like a threat.
I'll even point out, because it wasn't brought up, don't y'all remember when Bellamy tried to reach out to her god for help? How hard, and I said how strained the connection was?
Oh yeah.
That's not the only time I've dropped stuff like that either. Probably about 20 other things I can think off the top of my head. But I slapped you all with red herrings all day, and oh, there we go. I got the roll. So with an 8, you don't notice anything special while you're flying. I only mention that. And that's specifically for Bellamy. The rest of you don't get the perception check.
It's just because I haven't drank my coffee yet.
Bellamy's like pulling out a hip flask on her side, like, these things get too hot when I put coffee in them. Takes a drink anyway, but I don't care.
Yeah.
But just to confirm, we get the 7 hours, nothing happens, I can just start adding these spells?
If the party's good with it. What was mentioned, did you get everything there, Courtney?
Yes, yeah, I heard everything.
Perfect. So you know about 6-hour trip, which is going to become a 7-hour trip, is you're gliding to Mad Maggie's, which is in about this area on the map, since now you can see. You are all down here. Right about here would be where Mad Maggie's place would be, somewhere in here. They're not actually specific. This is because the way Avernus works when you're starting the campaign, you can be a little flexible with where you're going, but essentially you end up trying to get them somewhere in this area, so they're flexy. But yes, this would be where Mad Maggie's is on your map, give or take. It's just not marked.
What are these alien-looking things?
Oh, the Sybriacs, rather.
They remind me of those, I forget what they're called. Did anyone play Subnautica?
I'll get you a picture of one. They're considerably more ugly than what you're seeing on the map. The Sybarexes, they were extremely ancient Oberth demons that were capable of manipulating flesh by grafting abyssal matter to it. They'd existed long before the Tanari came to rule the Abyss and had spawned several breeds of the perfidious fiends through their unholy experiments. They're bloated, about 15-foot in size demons that were a little more than 1,500 pounds deformed heads, to be honest. Really, they reek of rotten vegetation hung off of their misshapen bodies, and they constantly exuded streams of blood and bile, polluting the ground and causing plants to wither wherever they went. Faces
incredible.
Wagons. I could keep going on, but nasty, nasty things.
Question.
Love
the pop-up, Did anyone else just get like a broken image?
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't
Yeah.
actually see the picture.
Oh, I know what happened then. Just give me a moment. It's because where I'm linking it from, the Forgotten Realms website that I love to use for reference because they're so detailed. It doesn't like cross-linking the way I did, so I have to copy it from my computer directly instead. If it'll work. System's super cranky today. There we go. And I'll do a show notes on that
Ooh,
one. Yeah, nasty, disgusting
Jesus.
things. Hey, you asked.
incredible.
Nothing
I
about
love it.
Avernus is nice.
Aw, it's adorable. It's like a little puppy.
Except that face
Yeah.
is the size of a wagon.
I love it.
Oh. That's just some of the nasty fun things in Avernus. There's one thing Avernus is good for, it's making you throw up. But after a while, you get used to it. Not Avernus, the throwing up. That sounds like a Rhea quote. Oh, I do like as well, if you notice way over here on the left side, and I'm zooming in, they have the official pit fiend, or the winged devil, horned devil over here with battle gear. You ever see one like that with the crown on its head and a big old shield? They usually actually lead armies. The crowns are for control, and they're very much more dangerous. That's what the actual mini looks like too, and not like the other one you just saw. They normally have weaponry. But this guy didn't. And then there's the big bad fiends up this way if we're still checking the map. But you would have no trouble if you're going to be heading to Mad Maggie's. Is that where we're running to?
Well, that was just my suggestion.
I think it's a great idea. I think we should definitely see if Maggie can give up one of her red caps.
I don't think I've met her yet.
I mean, bear in mind
Oh, that's
that,
even more reason.
that it might be a bit of a nuisance, but it probably won't be overly malicious to us. Might.
Now, I will say, even though Bellamy has not met Mad Maggie, when the players describe the Mad Caps and the Red Caps to you, you have seen those audacious little mongrels. To be nice. I'll get you a quick picture. Actually, I think they should be in my monster repertoire, so I should just be able to type it in.
But yeah, Maggie is a kind of ally,
Oh, I don't have them on.
so if we give her a fair price for a red cap, it's probably our best shout, other than looking for hired help for like the Infernal Rapture or something, but that seems less trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming to realize some of the stuff I had was on Roll20 back in the day, so I don't have it all quite as prepped here for the older material. But this would be one of the red caps. Small, gnomish, chaotic crazy. I think chaotic stupid actually is a good way to find these guys. Who
Oh
basically
my god.
love and run to Mad Maggie. No one can control these things. No one can command these things. But they, for some reason, flock to her, do her every bidding, her every word. They're like she is their queen, is the easiest way to describe it. However, some of these red caps are nuts and will bathe their red caps in demonic ichor, vile and blood from the river Styx, in order to turn themselves into mad caps, skulls twisted and changed. If you think a red cap's crazy, you ain't seen nothing yet. The mad caps are truly insane. They're really nuts. I gotta grab a
They're
thesaurus
real
here. Hang
cute
on.
though.
They're something else. They come up to about your knees, very small. They're creatures of the Feywild sort of thing, so you know they're all kinds of bad. And these are the
my
sort
God.
of warnings probably the rest of the party's giving you. They're not even bothering to mention Maggie. When it comes up, it's like, oh yeah, she's our ally. She's a sweetheart. You'll love her. Someone give an eye roll at that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't call her sweetheart. She did eat us cookies made from the bones of children or something like
no,
that.
the
No,
cookies
that wasn't.
were perfectly
No.
fine.
What was that?
Oh, the cookies. Mad Maggie's cookies. They were delicious.
Well, they were made with suffering? What was
Yeah,
it? There was something.
she sent her
I'm
red
getting it
caps.
mixed up with our other egg.
You pretty much got it. She sent her redcaps and madcaps to get the ingredients because she said flour, sugar, eggs, little bit of yeast, some baking soda and such like that. And then she went into detail to explain how hard these are to get in Avernus, how many of her redcaps died scouring for these ingredients, how much pain and misery went into the creation of these cookies to create something truly unspeakably vile. To which Jade's like, they're delicious, and everyone else is putting the cookies down.
I didn't have any cookies, just for the record.
Yep.
Lex refused to eat them.
Most of the food Mad Maggie serves.
I'm trying to think.
There. I don't want to spoil
Was the
surprises.
cookies with Nimbar or were they with Milky?
Nimbar. That happened after the fact. That was the visit back. To preface, Mad Maggie, after the party obliterated Zerial's flying warship, causing unsurmountable damage to the face of Avernus, and triggering the present peace that's lasting. I'm actually going to pause the game so the timer doesn't run forward now, because I still have to kick it forward 8 hours. Once the peace was drawn, or 7 hours, my bad. Once the peace was started up, the party went to the only true ally they had, because she too was at the site of the explosion, Mad Maggie. Upon going back to her place, they basically said, we are going to take over Avernus, since there's no ruler, and we're going to bring Dusty back. That's the goal. She laughed, called them crazy, said she would kill them if she could, but she doesn't think she can. So instead, they can obtain her unwavering loyalty as a general if they clear out a crypt for her and destroy the monster within that she sealed away some 200 years ago. In all honesty, and Mad Maggie rightfully admitted this directly to the party's faces, she expects them to die, and she hopes that they die in her crypt, because, that would work great for her. And she advised, if they return, she has their loyalty, and she says, basically, you ain't coming back. And then they came back, and she was like, damn, how did you? I can't even. Okay, you guys are strong. I'm definitely on your team. Yeah, Mad Maggie's a weird one, but you have her alliance. Whether or not she's going to break her rules or change anything, party doesn't have that much experience with her. But she is crazy, because when they bumped into Dusty with her for the first time, Dusty recounted that he met her 100 years ago in Avernus. They were fighting against her lines while pushing through. At one point during a break, she popped up over the trenches while they were eating food and says, damn, that smells good. And a friendship was born, because Maggie's crazy. Honestly, that was it. She would have continued to fight them, but the food they brought actually smelled good, and that's a rarity, because she only has a few tasty foods. And that's the other thing, food usually tastes bad in Avernus. This was the last of their good food. One of those things. Just to show the insanity of Mad Maggie, you never know what's going to come out her mouth. But apparently, you can trust her. At least the party hopes. Now, as for her home, unless you got something there, Dean.
I was just going to say, we can trust her to be honestly deceitful.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Sure.
I'm just so enamored by these little creepy gnome things. They're absolutely adorable, and I want one in real life.
Some of them have been decent engineers in the past as well, because they tuned up some of the cars and gave Flux night vision goggles, and stuff like that.
Love it.
So I'm just gonna throw everyone's minis onto the map. Sorry. But yeah, they're funky. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I know that we're probably going to need to pay or something.
Yeah, I'm expecting to make a payment.
So I have activated the map. Oh shoot, it's got your other minis from another time up there. Let me delete those off.
I've not seen those minis for a long time.
But do you know who those minis are?
I'd need to wait for the map to finish loading for me.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, of course I do.
Mine.
He's me. Fort Knucklebone is one of the largest maps that I employ. It's very detailed and very well done by a person called Pogs, I believe. I had rented all of their maps back when they were making them for Avernus from their Patreon. There we go. So I give them a good thumbs up. They're a nice person to deal with, and they don't tag all their maps with their info. So all the other adventures, I brag the hell out of them.
There's also 2 Kenkus that were friends of Lulu's that we could ask Maggie for as well if we don't want red caps.
I did think of that. I feel she's way less likely to give them up than a couple of red caps, but
Yeah.
they would be ideal.
As for an actual exterior picture, and this should load fine, it's coming from D&D Beyond, for Mad Maggie's wonderful fortress, looks like this from the exterior. A nice, big, scary-ass pile of rusted metal slapped together, made from the wrecked war machines and remnants during the Blood War.
Love it. Love everything about that.
As for Mad Maggie, she often can be seen with a good friend of hers. Well, not so much a friend as it is a creation. Mickey, the flesh golem. Mad Maggie herself being a night hag and looking very similar to one you've already met. However, oh shoot, put the wrong picture up. To give you an idea of what Mad Maggie and Mickey generally look like, here's a picture of her stitching his leg back up, or his arm back up. Mickey, the flesh golem, used to always walk around with a horrendous limp, until the players figured out he actually had a splinter in one of his feet. They fixed it, removed it, and he was ever so grateful to them. But that pissed the Red Caps and Mad Caps off, who loved watching his funky Mikey dance. They actually kicked one of the party members in the shin for it.
It was me.
Yep.
The shame.
And as for the Kenku that were mentioned, Clucka and Conk, their names are. Clucka and Clonk. I said Conk, didn't I? Conk right out. Were a pair of Kenku, usually found in Maggie's employ. She calls them the magpies, mind you. Clonk, the bigger of the two Kenku, is the strong, silent type who sometimes drives a few of the war machines, while Chukka is animated, irritable, and takes care of repairs around the fort.
Love it.
And in fact, as you're flying your airship in, you will notice the pair of them down by some Devil's Rides here, 2 motorcycles essentially, the Devil's Rides here, presently working on repairing them, configuring them, and building them up. Upon seeing the airship fly overhead, they both take a moment to reach up and give a wave, as do, suddenly, and this might just make Bellamy's day, the Red Caps and Mad Caps that you can see in this area here, and this area here, all suddenly look up and line up to make a gigantic set of arrows pointing with themselves and their bodies as if perfectly coordinated, pointing to one spot here where you can see one red cap on his own, standing at the very top of the line up there. And he's got what appears to be a torch. How did I forget that word? He has a torch in either hand that he's waving, and he looks like an air attendant. He's got a big helmet on, giant pair of glasses, very firm look on his face, indicating as his arms are flailing in different directions, pointing and moving and making maneuvers that make absolutely no sense. But there's a big, wonderful spot for you to drop the airship down.
Bellamy waves enthusiastically at them.
And they're all waving you on, and they're like moving with emotion, and you're hearing from down on the shores. You're not even sure. And you
Oh my God.
can see at the very front here, of course, standing at the bottom of the hill as she's congratulating them, walking forward, the very same Mad Maggie, with a large grin on her face as she approaches the ship, as you come in for your landing. The gates all remain closed, of course. Not very many people in Avernus can take advantage of such flying mechanisms. Immediately, Chukka and Clonk are on their way over as well, clearing through the little red caps and mad caps, shoving them to the side and etc. Mad Maggie, meanwhile, you see she's coming down and she appears to be wearing what looks like a backpack. Though when you look closely, you actually see it's a madcap strapped to her back by infernal chains. Back to back they are, and the madcap's holding onto what appears to be a large treasure chest. Fiercely holding it, just looks angry as hell. She walks up towards the front of the ship, gives a wave. She's like, "Oh, hello, dearies. I see you've all come back to my wonderful abode. What is it? Are we going to make war? It's a little early. We still need a few more days, dearie." And I'll start the clock back up and unpause the game.
Hello, Maggie. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, I do have her mini. Good. Bing. I'll put her on the map. I usually don't worry too much about getting minis on the map. just because. You'll also notice a flame skull circling around Maggie's head.
That's our buddy too.
Yeah.
It's Barnabas.
And he seems to be just muttering
Bernie?
Yes, I see you've all returned once again. Good, ha ha ha. And the skull clambers around as he floats up and around the ship, spinning around. Vessel is looking in good shape too. Yes, kluka konk, maybe over here. As you see the two crows, as I call them, the magpies. Because if you call them magpies, I'm going to say crows. Rushes in. They're already looking at your ship, taking out some tools and all that, and beginning to do some moderate repair and upkeep. You know, tightening on the back rudder blade, looking at the wings, examining stuff here and there. Maggie shakes her head. She goes, "Oh, it's always a wonderful time for the magpies when you come to my home, dearest. They so much love working on that beautiful airship of yours."
Can I try and pick up one of the little crazy things?
Oh, no trouble. You pick up one of the little red caps. Not the mad caps, because they're the definition of insanity. The group of them right now, you notice the mad caps, are encircling the red caps who were signaling where to go, and now walking with their arms in tow, grabbing all the red caps and going with them. And when you think all hell's about to break loose, you see the red caps do the same, as they all start tugging and chaining against each other. Then they make two large lines. Meanwhile, you're holding on to one, and it looks like just a bored cat in your arms, just staring at you. It looks you dead in the eyes and goes, "Gatuka." You now notice the other two have lined up side by side and are playing Red Rover. With knives. Go Duga, go Duga, and one of them just runs across with the blade, cuts the arm off one of the madcaps. They all scream, throwing their arms up into the air as he joins in line in the other guy's place. The other guy picks his arm up, hits him on the back of the head, muttering a few curses as he walks away.
You love to see it.
You know, Maggie looks over. It's like, so wonderful to see them getting along. Normally the red caps and mad caps just like to pick on each other all day, but it's so wonderful to see them at play. She looks up. Oh, that one seems to have taken kindly to you, dear. Very fortunate. And it's still just hanging in your arms like, you know, a cat. A cat that's like, "You've picked me up. Congratulations. I'm not moving."
Love it. Love it. I will continue to hold him.
Flex will just kind of say, "Maggie, always nice to see you. We do have a small favor to ask, though. You're one of the few people who we can trust here, and we ran into a bit of a close call not that long ago when we left our ship outside of a dungeon we were in.
Oh.
And Flex will tell her what happened."
And she looks over the ship a few times and squints a bit. "Oh, that is peculiar, dearies. I see you've lightened your load, though, somewhat since you've been here last. You have a new companion who my madcaps have taken greatly to, and the monkey seems to have, the one with the wings, the one who looks like he truly belonged here. He appears to have, how do you say, flown the coop. But, dearies," and she tilts her head to the side, "wasn't there one more of you?"
Oh, Krakendall, I'm surprised you didn't.
She waves her hand. No. The god of metal still rocks. My sister and I saw him recently. It was so lovely. No. I'm sure there was one more. Very peculiar. Regardless. How about, and she rubs her hands together, a feast? Yes.
I feel like that's not the first time a character has said that to us. Am I crazy?
It's not. We thought they were talking about Dusty, but...
Interesting. Flex will make a note of that.
But they don't mean, no crates, do they?
Oh, no, they are well aware, because of meta-knowledge, that nil crates and, oh, shoot, I'm trying to remember the other one, the nil crates and... Oh,
Rodman.
Thank you,
Rodman.
The overpowered paladin Rodman, because really, if Flux didn't knock something out in one hit, he did. Smite is powerful. Rodman Stewart, wasn't it? And nil crates both left the party when you all came back into Avernus. So for the most part, people who've seen you know that those ones have left, know that Dusty died, you know?
That's so bizarre. And like Ray is with us and everything too, right?
Yeah, she's taking a drink at the moment because, you know, I think she runs on vodka.
Have any of the people who've said that ever looked at or talked to Rhea?
Rhea's eyes go a bit wide. She's like, I know I'm hearing voices, but I'm not a ghost. She looks over at Maggie. Am I a ghost? Maggie looks up. I could make you one, dearie, but no.
Don't touch Maggie. No.
Big
No,
smile
Maggie.
on her face. She asked, dearie. What am I supposed to do? Ignore her?
We're just very sensitive about that right now, Maggie. It's a sore subject.
Yes, I do imagine. I can feel the pain and misery from you from over here. It is delectable, dearies. Yes.
Flux will just kind of look at her flatly and be like, "You're welcome for the snack."
A being that lives off of pain, gluttony, hatred, and anger. But such a nice lady.
So Flux will finish off the conversation with asking if Maggie has anyone around or any red caps that she'd be willing to part with the promise of bringing them back eventually.
Big smile on her face, which turns into a big frown. She goes, oh, I thought we were going to play a red cap golfer. Apparently not today. And you see two of them are dragging what appears to be a giant golf club. They turn on their heels and walk away.
We could play if you want.
She goes, oh, I think I will. Yes, bring that back. Hey, you get back. Oh, you're up first. And she picks up the giant golf club, puts it over one shoulder like it's nothing. Meanwhile, as she's talking, the red cap and mad cap are taking each other and flipping them around so they're on top of their gnome-like hats, upside down on the ground, prepping them like some giant T. Meanwhile, Maggie looks back at the team. Yes, I could most certainly assist you, and as my allies, I would be more than willing to lend you any number of red caps and mad caps, though I would not recommend too many. They cause havoc on machinery if left to their own devices for too long, you see.
I feel like this is pushing it, but I don't suppose you could spare one of your feathered friends.
Oh, Clucker and Conk, my magpies. Oh, she gives her jaw a bit of a rub. It has been somewhat peaceful in this area. However, they don't like being apart too often. They communicate quite well with each other, don't they? And you see one of them looks over and says, we do not like being apart, perfectly mimicking Maggie's voice and nodding its head. You get the feeling, with a couple good persuasion checks, you could most certainly get one of the magpies on your ship. Maybe even both.
So Flux will propose this. She'll be like, well, the problem was today is Maggie, honestly, I think we could have taken him. But we couldn't because of the time of peace. What if we were to take the magpies on a little trip with the promise of returning them as soon as we can once the peace is over?
Oh.
That sound okay? So about three or 4 days?
Oh, dearies, that would be wonderful. They would have quite the enjoyable time playing around and experimenting with your ship to see the capacities of it. And she holds up a hand. And before you are alarmed by such a prospect, given the beauty of your ship, do not worry. I know of no finer engineers in all of Avernus. Except Bell. But he does not count. He is not a nice person, dearie. No, I do not like him. He is very, very mean. Nods her head. But beyond them, my magpies, dearie, are the single greatest in all of Avernus.
Sorry, can you repeat what she said about Bell again? I was zoned out for a second.
She said she doesn't like him. He's mean.
Yeah, but did she say anything in regards to the Kenkus with Bell?
Oh, nothing specifically, no. She just compared their crafting skill as the greatest in Avernus that she's aware of.
Besides
Except,
Bell,
of course,
who she
Bell.
doesn't like. Right, okay, cool. That was the part that I missed. I missed the part preceding that, so I was like, wait, I was thinking it was like, you can take them anywhere except near Bell, was kind of
no.
what I thought I heard, so I was like, uh-oh.
She most certainly doesn't like Bell, but as another person who wants to try to rule hell, well, of course she's not going to like Bell. Mind you, though, she actually has a personal hate on for him, just because I want her to. Because, I don't know, maybe he was nice to a madcap one day. It's like, that is not right. And around this point in time, while you're all like, oh, that'd be good, you hear, a 4! And then wham! She swings that giant golf club, connects with the backside of the poor redcap, who flies and sledgehammers into one of the walls, makes a large dent, falls on the ground out cold. She goes, ow! Damn, I cut that one, dearies. Let's try again. And they start prepping up a second.
Slice that one to the left.
Just a little bit. I got a bit of a hook on my shot. I'll get better, though, dearies. It'll be the Avernus Open Continental soon. I must be ready.
Maggie, close your club face. Make sure your club face is closed when you swing.
And she goes, oh, damn, and points at you. You're right. I have to get my feet in with that. Yeah, I can do it.
Bellamy holds the little what's it called? Red cap?
Yeah,
A
you
little
have
bit
one of the red
closer.
caps.
Yeah, she just holds him a little bit tighter.
And he just chills. He seems pretty comfy. Just watching. He gives a laugh when one of them gets hit and goes, "Duga."
I mean,
The one that's on the ground, by the way, you'll notice around now, gets up, shakes its head a bit. 3 of the guys beside hold up cards with numbers written on them in odd angles, upside down, etc. But you think they were giving him points for the crash.
well, Maggie, if that's no problem, we'd love to head out as soon as we can. If there's any business that you need, Chonka and Conk. Is that what it was?
Chukka and Clonk, I think? Let me double check. The names
Chukka
are
and
weird. It's like the ones I can't remember.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, I have like a general idea of what they're called.
Chukka and Clonk. Hey, you're doing better than me. I call them Billy
Chukka.
and Jimmy. You both Dragon Masters now. Oh, God. Yeah, that bad.
Oh, dear. That's what a callback.
Yeah, that's old. So, without any trouble then, since you only want them for a couple days, and Maggie admits, well, dearies, you have the King of Metal, who is at the Wandering Emporium. I forgot its name for a moment. The mind goes in the old days, dearie, she says as she rubs her temple. He is there in the Wandering Emporium for a few more days, and once you pick him up, just come back here and return Chukka and Clonk to me. Until then, I'm sure they will have a wonderful time on your airship. And plus, with a smile, they will prevent people from stealing it when you park it somewhere.
Exactly, Maggie. Exactly. By the way, do you have a sister or a cousin?
Oh, I do, dearie, I do. It was so nice. I have not seen her in 4 centuries. I swear she took a bath. I saw her when I was recently traveling to the Wandering Emporium. I heard there was quite the show there. I'm actually only back here today to pick up the basics of supplies before I return and listen to more of that beautiful metal. Oh, it is so lovely. We tore that place up, us two. And a big smile on her face. It's not every day a pair of twins gets to walk into Mahadi's. Oh, yeah. And the same line her sister used, and you're just like, those poor demons.
So we did know that they were sisters.
Yep. The other sister had said
I
that.
forgot.
And with you,
Okay.
with
Yeah.
Flux piping up like that, you totally made Maggie say, she's like, oh, yes, I did. It was very fun. So wonderful to see my sister.
Yeah, we stayed at her hut while she was gone, kept an eye on it.
It is did you now? Very, very, very kind of you. Quite nice. She will appreciate the favor. She is much more on the wheelings and dealings of business, dearie. Not nearly as much on the war of Avernus. So she will appreciate that favor, most certainly. Remember that kindness. Someday you may very well bump into our eldest sister, and should that happen, make sure to drop our names and to point out these kindnesses, or she might eradicate you.
Oh, great! You have another sister. What's her name?
And she gives a smile as she shows wicked teeth. I am not at liberty to denounce it due to the nature of her magics. Knowing her name is too much power. But should you encounter her, oh, believe me, dearies, you'll know it's her. After all, she has that beautiful look of the Maggie sister. It's a big smile on her face as she puts a hand under her chin and everything, you know, as if showing off what appears to be a portrait of sheer and utter beauty, which may be an Avernus.
Of course. And Maggie, could I trouble you for one more question?
Oh, of course, dearies. It's always wonderful to have visitors that I don't want to kill on sight.
Do you know anything about obsidian dolls?
Oh, I was just about to ask the same thing.
Oh, and just
Nice.
before I get to that, I'm going to throw into the chat, and I'm using a copy-paste from Amazon on this one. Hopefully it works. This was the mini they gave for Mad Maggie.
That's
I do
amazing.
believe. Oh, wait, no, I grabbed the wrong picture. The one I wanted to show is the one from the Collector series that they do
That's-
for Mad Maggie.
Yeah, that's from the box. I've got the box set one. That's the individual one.
Yep.
The
That's
second one is a mini.
Yeah, you can
Yep.
buy it custom. Just like my Zariel mini that I had painted for the campaign. I bought a
Looks
specific
so
Zariel.
good.
I wonder if I can find Zariel.
I like the second one more than the first one, but they're both.
You too. I can
Oh,
see
yeah.
it a lot more clearly. Like the lines are so nicely painted.
When they first came out, I threw a few of my minis up onto Imgur, and They kind of ended up all over Google for a bit, so I was a bit happy to see that. But I'm seeing if I can find a painted Zerial. Because there's the mini that they gave for Zerial. Oh, here we go. This one isn't the one I did. I kind of prefer my coloring on the wings. Or my wife's coloring on the wings. But this is the mini they gave for Zerial's demonic form.
Ooh.
Big Bad Fallen Archangel. The definition of Big Bad Fallen Archangel. Party didn't even have to fight her. They convinced her to take up the sword in good once more. So 10 points.
It took me till after the campaign to notice that she's not holding the flail. She's missing a hand.
Yeah.
It's like,
It got
how did I
chopped
miss
off. And this is something I saw that was interesting, that somebody done up custom-made one-of-a-kind minis for both Zerial Angelic and Zerial Demonic.
Nice. I love that.
For some fun back references for everybody. Yeah, the party did the good guy hard route and managed to win it, so Zerial gave them their favor, and then other things happened, but you know how that goes.
Can I go up to Maggie and just say, hi, can I keep this? And just hold out the red cap.
Maggie looks at the red cap, puts a hand on its head, and it looks up at her and goes, she gives a nod. Yeah, dearie, he doesn't seem to have any problems. Says he's having a wonderful time and is quite excited to fly upon the clouds with all of you. And gives a nod and a smile.
Yay! Thank you.
She holds up a finger. You will find they are quite indestructible should you drop one, so don't worry if he falls overboard. Just scoop down and pick him up. But if you cut one, they're very squishy, so make sure to stitch the parts back on so they're healed up nicely. And you see the little guy, he looks up at you and gives a very calm nod and looks back. Completely in agreement, it would seem.
Flux will kind of lead in and be like, what are you going to name him?
Does he have a name?
Mad Maggie shrugs her shoulders. Damned if I know.
I'll look down at him. Do you have a name?
He looks up, nods, and says, Dagu.
Dagu?
Dagu.
Oh, his name is Dagu.
And what I will do is grab you a link to the web's to the actual red cap description. He's not a mad cap, but he's a red cap. The mad caps wouldn't follow anyone and would cause you more trouble in the very short term, let me just be honest. But that is by their design. I'm going to link 2 pages. The first one's going to be the Forgotten Realms entry on them, because they always like to give a ton of info in the Forgotten Realms one, if you want to read up on the bestiary. And I'm going to go to the D&D Beyond and pull up their stats site, so you have just their basic stat block.
Alan.
Yo.
Okay.
My character read over the contract with Belle.
Yep.
So in the contract, does it specify if we can talk about the poison or not?
There is absolutely no restrictions on any of communication. The contract is strictly states that you are to return to him with the 3 ingredients. There's no time frame, there's nothing restricting there, nor does it say how many you have to bring back at once. He has advised that he's not telling you where the others are until you come with each ingredient to him, so.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. That's good to know. So Maggie, dear, we do have a little bit of news, and we just want you to be a little careful. Bell seems to be making some sort of poison for his enemies. And as an ally of ours, I would hate to see harm come to you.
Then she gives a nod. Oh, dearie, I am aware, as she lowers down her club and aims up for another swing. And you see she closes the line this time. I am quite aware. I am very well planned for that. I'm bringing cookies. And she gives a swing and connects. And this shot is perfect. Flies over the gate. Probably goes 5,000 yards, because, you know, magical golf club and all that. Maggie's holding a hand up. She has one leg up, the other one pitted forward with a perfect swing as she's watching him go and just whistles once like, "You're right, dearie. I really did need the close-up shot on my swing. That was very nice." And she adjusts her hips a bit for the close and nods at Flux. And then in the distance you hear as the poor madcap lands.
Did she answer the obsidian doll question?
Oh, no, she didn't. We got backtracked off that for a second. As she's watching the thing land, she goes, "So, these, obsidian dolls, you call them? I have to say, that's honestly not something I have encountered. However, I have heard tales that apparently they have been quite the thorn in the side of a rather devious follower of Tiamat. Though I'm not 100% certain on the details, dearies, just things I overheard while having a drink at Mahadi's. Though things there are quickly divulging, it's pretty much just an entire party of hedonistic delights. You know, a wonderful place to be in these times. But those obsidian..."
Of course.
Maggie's favorite way is any good way. But she gives a nod and says, "Yes, I have heard that Arkan the Cruel, Arkan the Terrible, has had to deal with those obsidian monstrosities, dearies, for quite some time now. At least in part or in full. But that's all that I've came across. It was a side comment by a rather cold-looking turtle."
You know what, Maggie? That is a huge help. Thank you very much.
"Oh, you are quite welcome, dearies, but I would not suggest going against or to or bargaining with or dealing with Arkan in any way. He is, how do you say, completely insane and has the favor of Tiamat on his side. Though all of us may be bound by demonic contract at these times, I cannot guarantee your safety, should you attest and go there. So if you do, please make sure Clucka and Conk can return with the ship so I can feel the pain of your deaths." Big smile on her face.
Of course.
"Ah, wonderful. Always so good to deal with you."
We wouldn't put your little magpies at risk.
Mad Maggie. Honest in that she wants you dead, but happy you're alive because you're strong. If you die, she's in charge. But if you're not dead, everybody else is going to die. She's pretty black and white on this one.
Just not even offended.
Everyone should be aware that where I'm from, that when you see two magpies, or any number of magpies, you need to salute. And the rhyme is 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy.
1
5
looks
for
up.
silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret, never to be told.
One looks up at you, repeats it exactly in your voice, exactly like that. The other one looks down, looks up at you, and says in a rather dumbfounded orc-like voice, "We can count."
Alec just salutes them.
For the most part, the magpies end up speaking with each other, clucking back and forth for the most of it. The majority of their communication to the group of you will be physical in nature. Like they'll wave at something and point at one of their tools and be like, "This shit broken," they'll say in the rather orcish voice, or Mad Maggie's voice will come out, "Oh, dearies, the deck is falling out on that. We've got to patch it." Right? So they're going to be a fun little addition to the crew, but that does give your boat much, much needed security. Because as you saw, when the going got tough, the monodrone and your homunculus got hidden. Maybe it was the monodrone who saved them. Perhaps you owe him a favor.
I begrudgingly showed some affection to a robot. That's a big step for a druid.
Oh, 1 second.
I mean, you showed a lot of emotion to Pop, especially at the end when he barked for you.
Oh, Pup. Pup was fun.
I miss Pop.
Yeah.
Pup helped Alec realize that not all metal is bad.
I love Nimber so much. I'm so sad his story came to an end, but it made sense.
What?
You mean Nil Crates, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
there are
Nil Crates.
right here.
I'm good at this. Don't worry about it.
Wait, what
Oh my
happened?
god.
Nothing. I'm being dumb.
Cute
messed up.
I
Metal Gear
picked
Solid
ends,
Scream.
2 N and eyes, and they're just apparently the same character now.
So Mad Maggie is preparing her usual feast for guests, if you're up for it. She's more than happy to just let you go, of course, you know what she's mentioned. But if you want to hang around, she'll definitely feed you. I mean, as you recall, the food's delicious, but questionable.
I could eat.
What does everyone think? On a huge rush, it's not like we have a. Oh, but wait. Okay. Well, I guess if we stay for a couple hours and not rest, then could we get to Belt's Forge today, or are we gonna have to take a long rest anyway?
From here, you'd be looking at about a 10-hour flight to get the rest of the way, because I believe it was a day and a half.
Oh
to get
well,
out of
yeah.
there. With the shifting in Avernus, about a day and a half now. Tell you
Yeah,
what,
we
though.
may as well rest here.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So while Mad Maggie preps a big old feast, and all your characters are enjoying it because it's the most demonic, disgusting looking food you've ever seen, but it tastes great, unlike everything else in Avernus. Maggie has the capacity to cook tasty food, but it's like the most horrifying things, like entrails from a Draugr demon mixed with stuffed peppers inside, and it's the most horrible sounding thing, but given the plane that you're on, it's about the only thing they've got, so, you know. I'll let your imaginations go on that one. And were you about to say something, Dean? I think I cut you off.
Yep. I was just going to say, and as thanks for her hospitality, because I think she's with hags and stuff. Exchange of hospitality is kind of important. I will give her one of the many beholder eye stalks I harvested.
Her eyes go wide. She goes, "Oh, dearies, now this is wonderful," she says with a nod. "I can do some good magic with this eyeball. And the stock makes a wonderful soup stock," with a nod. And you see,
Like always,
three
Jade
red
will
caps are just staring up at it like, ooh. And sorry, I cut Jade off.
Yeah, that's okay. Like always, Jade will do the circle and send food to the shield.
And Shield's just like, "You are my favorite tabaxi ever. Oh my god, the demonic food is the best. Oh, I don't understand how you can eat steak and potatoes. What the hell is that? It's so, Essentially. I try not to make the actual food eating sounds. That's a trigger for a lot of people, as I learned, unfortunately, in one game. I had this guy who's constantly
What are
eating out.
potatoes, precious?
Yes, exactly. Rhea probably yelling, "You boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a damn stew, you shield. What's wrong with you?" I think she's about as close as you've got to a Samwise on the team. It's kind of the same feel. Frodo's definitely the main characters and the heroes, and Samwise is just, I'm the audience swapping character. You just let me laugh.
No. No. Samwise is the main hero.
He really is. If not for him, it wouldn't have gone through, but Frodo's willpower and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, we can get on topic on that for hours. It's right up the alley of D&D. Hell, halflings and hobbits? Guess what D&D wasn't allowed to call hobbits?
You mean halflings?
Yeah.
No. You said.
Oh, I know. That's why I specifically said that.
Yeah.
They're hobbits. They're just, they couldn't use that name, so they're called halflings. They're specifically hobbits, though. Lord of the Rings had a big influence on initial D&D, and it's... But I digress. Your characters are going to have a nice feast here. However, it's spot on 12 o'clock. Before we move on, did we want to take a 15-minute break, come back at 12:15 and finish up?
Sounds good.
It sounds good to me.
Perfect. I will see you all then at quarter after. I'm going to pause the game and turn the music down so we know that it is on a quiet moment. I always have creepy music in the background because it's Avernus. I'll see y'all in 15.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I am back for when Oop, everyone else is.
I'm also back. I just got back. I just sat down, actually.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Oh crap, I can't hear anything. My headphones kicked out. One sec. Alright, I should be good now. I forgot they auto off without volume.
We could hear you before.
Oh yeah, I can hear you guys now. It's
Okay.
my headphones and my mic are two separate things. My Yeti's always on, but my headphones, they auto off if there's no sound for 15 minutes. But they got like a 16-hour battery, so I mean, that's a good thing though, because I often forget things turned on when it comes to electronics. Everything's set to automatically sleep in my home. It makes it easier. So everybody got themselves a little snacky poo, something to eat, something to enjoy.
Yep. I had a pretty good breakfast. I had beans and fish cakes for breakfast. Very traditional. My parents made some homemade beans last night. They were still sitting in the little ceramic crock pot this morning.
That sounds great.
Oh, nice.
It was really good.
Geez, they look to be better now because they've had time to sit even longer in that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really good.
Oh.
Superstore sells tortilla and jalapeno cheese sticks. Those things are great.
Oh, don't tell me that. They sound too good.
Oh, they are delicious.
They
It's
are
kinda-
delicious.
We have them most weeks now.
Too good. I'll often go to
What did-
Superstore and get their chicken tenders for 10 or 11 now. The price went up a little.
$10.
Did you say
okay.
they were, John?
Oh, they just jumped up to $10.99.
Jalapeno and tortilla cheese sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So they're breaded cheese sticks, but the bread in the breading has tortilla chip and jalapeno, so it gives that a little kick to it. Like I don't think it's too much of a kick, but
I'm with you, Courtney. I'm with you. She just posted up in the chat. To sustain its unnatural existence, a red cat has to soak its hat in the flesh and blood of its victims. To which she's like, me too, Throw, honestly. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading up on my new little friend, and I love literally everything about him.
He's insanity in a nutshell. I love it.
Yeah.
So Dan and I were talking, and thus far, Nimbar's impression of everyone, of Jillian and Alex, they're little kids that they get to have their fun. But for Bellamy and Jade, he's kind of seeing them as grandkids and get to be spoiled. Just like the way those two act, like they're like little kids, so they're his grandkids.
Nimbar, the old fart on
That's
the party.
fair.
I mean, I think Nimbar is older than the rest of you put together.
Nimbar, the old fart on the party.
I could be wrong on that one, but like it's close.
I think it's. Well, I don't know how old Bellamy is, but Alex around 30, and Jade's 18. Flux, you're
19 now.
Oh, 19. Happy birthday.
A year has gone by since we started
All right.
playing, so he's 19.
So,
I have Flux's age at 26.
Yeah, Bellamy's 22.
oh god.
Rhea's like mysterious age between 17, 16, and 20. They're not really clear, but they're like, she's a young adventurer. So I'm like, at this point, after going through hell, I'll put her at 18. 17 to start, 18 now. She's starting to see the wisdom in her years.
Sorry, how old did you say she was?
She's only like 17, 18. Very young character.
Okay, so
Do we even
all right,
break a century?
we'll round up to 18 just to be safe. How old is Nimbar again? I'm now doing the math because I'm now actually curious.
That's what you say. Can we make it canon that Rhea's 18 because I tried to hit on her?
Yeah, that's half the other reason I didn't want her being young, because she does interact with adults. So it's like, the book's like,
Yeah.
she's a 16-year-old, give or take, in the area. And I'm like, so she's 18 because you wouldn't put someone through that in this first off. She'd just be dead already. Yeah, no, I'd rather her scaled up. But she's also meant to be the young blood on the team, because I don't want her stealing the show.
So I did just do the math because I got curious.
Though
Nimbar is almost 6 times as old as the rest of the party put together.
So I'm also going to go ahead, since I think you all have inspiration. Courtney, I'm giving you a point of inspiration for being like, hey, make sure she's 18.
Yeah.
That's a 10-pointer because that's funny. It's true too, but it's funny.
We can make that canon, but we all know what you did.
Oh, poor
Oh,
Ray. She's like
I
sitting,
laughed.
sitting there eating a cookie that Mad Maggie gave her. Like, what y'all talking about? Oh my. Oh yeah, I gotta do checking through everything here, make sure it's all up to par. Yeah, it looks that way.
Can we say we would have had a short rest?
Oh god, you'd have a long rest at this point. You're sitting around doing not much of anything. It took you 7 hours just to get here, right? And you haven't actually had your true long rest yet.
So we can take a long rest now?
Oh yeah. Add a long
Perfect.
rest on your
Oh,
feet.
nice.
I mean, you've
All
still
right.
got another day worth of travel if you head straight back to Bell at this point.
yeah, but now I have. Actually, Alan,
You
can you resync my character?
Oh my god, this spellbook
'Cause-
stuff is
'cause
getting
I
out
may-
of hand.
I may have learned like double the amount of spells.
Ooh, very nice. Oh, relink him in. I get you. I thought you said
Yeah.
rethink. I was like, I'm
oh,
thinking.
resync.
1 second here. I thought you said rethink. I'm like, I'm thinking he's short. Alright, 1 sec. I'm gonna overrate you here.
I'm thinking we're gonna get Nimbar and Bellamy's new red cap mixed up.
They just swap places. No, Duga.
Wait,
Wait,
wait a moment. I actually have the perfect thing for this.
You know what would be like an interesting prank, probably fatal prank to pull on Nimbar is to get a red cap and put it on him while in Fort Knucklebone.
Nimbar's just walking by. Oh, thanks, guys. This is a really nice new hat. Gets golf clubbed by her. Ah!
I have to do it this way. Hopefully this will carry over.
I have a hat of disguise.
Though, admittedly, at your level, almost all of you should be able to, on most situations, without using any add-ons, survive a terminal velocity fall. It's, I think, 20d6 max out for the damage, so I mean, you know. If you can survive approximately 80 points of damage, because that's the average, you'd be fine, right? Rhea, meanwhile,
Didn't know that there
sweating
was a
bullets.
max.
Yeah, once you hit, every foot of fall damage above 5 feet of fall gives you 1d6 points of bludgeoning damage, and it maxes at 20d6. Doesn't take long to hit it. You can
Yeah,
use
Matt
that
didn't
against
know that
enemies.
when he killed Keyleth.
I was about to say, I vaguely remember a goldfish situation.
It's
But-
really cool to remember on enemies who don't have the
Here we
hover
go.
ability. If they're flying up in the air like 200-300 feet and you make them prone, they fall and take 20d6. Oh,
Thank you, by the way.
Fun.
Yeah. Now I can be a red cap.
Nice.
I don't actually do that, but
But not your clothing.
I have a hat of disguise. You can just completely make you a red cap.
Yep.
how to disguise just cast alter self.
Yes, but it doesn't waste your spells. So,
True. But doesn't it require attunement?
I wonder if alter self can make your clothing look different. The way that they have Jarlax will use it. Jarlax use it. It's
It does.
it doesn't mention clothing, so I'm just checking. 'Cause it doesn't.
I'm thinking disguise self.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Okay.
Alter self changes the body. I believe the hat uses
Yeah.
disguise self,
It does, yeah.
and that's a step up.
No, actually, it's a step down, I
Is it?
think.
Because with disguise self, you make yourself, your clothing, your armor, everything. But it's only first level, yeah. Alter
But
self is a
be-
true change. Disguise self
Yeah.
is an illusionary change.
Yeah.
That's the difference. You've got a minor polymorph there, essentially. I say
Yeah.
minor because you gain no benefits unless you use that natural weapons one. But
I mean,
I digress.
you can breathe underwater and gain.
like that's the sweet part. Suddenly you
Yeah.
grow gills on your neck, and you're like, I got no problem, guys. Everyone's like, can you do that for us? No. It's alter self, not alter everybody else.
Yeah.
Starts using polymorph. turns Rhea into a dolphin. She's like, goodbye, everyone. This is how I live now, and she's gone.
An hour later, she's in the very deep. Pop. Uh-oh.
The only water around here, though, is the river Styx. Second she pops in there, she's like, who am I? Yeah, Bellamy, don't go in the water. The river Styx.
Okay, noted.
Very bad. Very, very bad. Touching the water, you'll lose your memory. Poor Lulu was exposed to it before the start of the campaign, which is why she had no memories. Just blasted right out her head.
Fun.
Along with other nasty things, like it's just bad. There really isn't anything good down here that'll do anything good for you except the weapons you found. And technically you could say those aren't made to do anything good. Weapons are just made to kill. So after a bright, fortunate, and fancy feast with Mad Maggie, which probably looked like Fancy Feast's cast food at certain points of it, you know what I mean? Ugh. You could have no trouble boarding your airship and taking off, unless the party has any further dealings with Maggie. My next question is, where yous going now?
Well, I think we should go ahead back to Bell to give him his skull
Yep.
and get Fluxy's hammer repaired.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm gonna have to quickly do? Just for the fun, because you just adopted a creature. Let's see here. Oh, I don't have red cap in my system. I'll have to do an import on that. One second here. I'm actually going to make Duga a mini.
Yay!
Such a stringent adoption process. You just walk into the place and pick it up.
I've also heard mixed things about the plutonium add-on. Apparently you can grab data you're not supposed to have. I mean, we have all the books on D&D Beyond, but just a heads up for anyone using plutonium on Foundry. I've heard funky things about it. Love this system, though.
Plutonium?
It's an add-on. Lets me search and add creatures on the fly, based off of the 5e and other stuff like that. I own all the books digitally, so I could make them myself, but this is so much better. Because I literally just went pop and created a character for him, and here's a red cap, I can just throw it on, and I now have it as a mini. So if I duplicate him, and just pop him open.
When you say grab data that you shouldn't have, do you just mean like it doesn't have any kind of ownership checks?
I'm not sure how much plagiarism they're pushing on it, essentially. I'm not sure if they're saying,
okay,
all these monsters from Avernus, just put them in your game. You're not supposed to have access to that if you haven't bought the digital books, right? So I don't know where they're pulling the data from with plutonium. It made me actually question that. But at the same time, it's like owning the Blu-ray, the DVD, the digital copy, and then downloading it off of a torrent site because you don't want to scratch your discs. No one should really get mad at you for doing something like that.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant it was like pulling your own data off of unassociated.
It doesn't appear to,
sites.
because I originally thought it did, but
It's like it's not actually, like it's not 100% legal almost.
that's my concern with it. It might be sketchy grounds, so... But mind you, we are, as I say, of the habit that any time a new book comes out, we're like, ooh, we all bought it. I love it. There we go. So I'm just going to...
New book is released, everybody turns into Jade. Ooh, shiny.
Pretty much. We all have to have. Oop, pardon me. And let me just adjust the permissions on Duga. And I'm going to make everybody an observer, so you can all see Duga. But since Bellamy started this one, I'm making you an actual owner of him, so you have full control over his token.
Yay!
And I'm just going to delete these because they probably don't have the right data. And I'm going to pull Duga onto the map. Oh shoot, he's on top of the ship. So there's Duga. The red cap. Duga the red cap.
Ellen, I just sent you a token for the Manifest Mine. Is it possible to get that created?
Oh,
So
yeah,
that way
I
we-
can throw anything into the system.
That way we don't have to have like Nimbar and not Nimbar and get me confused.
I'm going to duplicate the flying sword, and I'm going to use it. I'm just going to quickly rename while we're doing stuff here. What's it called
Thank you,
again,
bud.
specifically?
Manifest Mine.
Just ignore all the stats on the token, because I used the flying sword to create it because I'm lazy.
Yeah, no, stats don't matter. It can't be hit. It's just so that way we know where it is, and I'm not going. Wait, which one's me?
Okay, half a second. I am copying that token into my such here. Especially if I have a creature do it, then I have a token for it, and we'll know what it is.
Yeah, I figure it's probably helpful for everyone.
That's weird, it didn't pop up on my listing. Just 1 second here. System's being a little slow for one. There it is. Does that work? Yeah, I just have to fix the token icon too, but you'll notice there should be a character Manifest Mind and Nimbar now in the list of characters. I'm just changing the permissions so that everyone's an observer, and we'll make Nimbar the owner, so you can make full changes, and I just have to update its token now. But that one should be good to go. Pardon me. Usually I can just import these things, but this actually has to be made by hand. So, there we go. And where is Nimbar? There is Nimbar. There's your Manifest Mind.
Perfect. Thank you.
Not a problem. And it shows up under the players for everybody, right? Just so you can see the token in there.
Is it the blue thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nimbar should be able to move that one around. I gave you control of the token, so. Perfect. There's your Manifest Mind. You are good to go. A placeholder at the best of days. Okay, so then. What is the plan now for the party? Now that you're rested up and well fed and with a long rest from Mad Maggie's.
Going to Bells?
Let's go see the Belle of the Ball.
That will be a 12-hour jaunt, so I'm going to skip the clock forward 12 hours then. And as you're flying overhead, again, Bellamy, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Mind you,
All right.
your character's probably enraptured with your new red cap.
Yeah.
But with a 17, your character walks to the gunwale of the boat. Even though it's a flying airship, I'm still referring to it as a boat. You walk to the edge of the blue gunwale as you hold him up, and you're like, "Look out over there, little dude," or something of the sort, maybe. And he goes, "Oh, so small." As you see, he's like holding up his fingers with, you know, the old crush your head action. He's doing,
Yes.
he's doing
Yep.
that to the fort. So small. Oh.
I love it.
Oh. And while you're getting a kick out of your little madcap Dagu, you notice something, Bellamy, as your eyes drift across the surface of Avernus. You were up in the air when you first came here for a brief instant. For some god-awful reason. Maybe you climbed something. Maybe you got a ride with somebody. Who knows? But this is not your first time seeing the river Styx from above. However, what you do notice is the banks of the river Styx have receded greatly. The river itself is much thinner than it was a couple weeks ago.
Ooh. I will point that out to everyone.
Huh.
Flux will just be like, that can't be good.
Time of peace, there's less things dying. Therefore, less souls running through the river of Styx.
Makes sense.
Now, the Styx, also known as the River of Blood, it's a cross-planar river that linked the topmost layers of the lower planes, according to the Great Wheel cosmology. This would be common knowledge for Bellamy, and this would be common knowledge for Nimbar as our two spellcasters in the group.
Sorry, what was that?
You would know that the Styx, the River of Blood, it's a cross-planar river that linked the topmost layers of the lower planes, according to the Great Wheel cosmology, and all of the fiendish planes, according to the World Tree cosmology. Those who touched or drank from it risk completely forgetting their past lives temporarily or even permanently, but it crawls through the uppermost layers of the 7 lower planes. Its headwaters located in Pandismos, the uppermost layer of Pandemonium, as well as several of the Wither's tributaries. There, its effects were not as powerful as in other planes, but in the Abyss, the Styx wound around the plane of infinite portals. A lot, as you recall from the Blood War, stems from the monstrosities that come forth from the River Styx, fought by the devils of this plane. Demons and devils fighting against each other heavily, as they're transferred from other planes of existence to here through the Styx. But now, the Styx shrinks.
Sounds like Jade's onto something, honestly. Knowing that.
It's curious though that just because Avernus is in a ceasefire, it's strange that the demons of the Abyss would respect that because they're chaotic.
Yeah, but if you're certain that a god's gonna come down and kill you, you may go, I'll follow your rules for now.
They are saying that Asmodeus is enforcing this time of peace.
The little red cap, he just chuckles. Asmodeus. Seems to strictly get a kick out of just the name.
Asmodeus, Asmodeus. Asmodeus, Asmodeus.
Oh, that
Ooh,
fits.
Asmodeus.
Ooh, help me, Asmodeus.
I only know that from The Simpsons.
Yeah, me too. Love it. Some of the best classics, that one. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You might remember me from some Dungeons & Dragons campaigns as Waterdeep. And Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Oh, rest his soul. So the trip to Bell's Forge,
yeah.
unless anyone has anything they want to look into, drive around, fly around, or do, would put it at 5:31 a.m. And thank you for the no. I appreciate the confirmation. Makes my life easier.
At some point between when we arrived at Maggie's and before we get to Bell's, Jade would like to investigate our 2 magic items that we found.
Yes. Magical sword of Swish Swish and magical armor of Kaboom, right? Hey, Bellamy. That might be Jade saying, help me. Because it's magical armor. It needs to be identified to see exactly how it would work.
Oh, sorry. I was plugging in my laptop. What needs to be identified?
There's magical gear that you found in the previous dungeon, just not identified. A short sword and full plate.
Okay. I'm on it.
As Bellamy identifies the first full plate, you might even give a bit of a whistle. Such a powerful piece of armor is almost unseen in your eyes. The plates of adamantine locked together with mithril, combined with the most beautiful chainwork you've ever seen. The full plate is an armor of invulnerability. While wearing this full plate, you have resistance to non-magical damage. Additionally, you can use an action to make yourself immune to non-magical damage for 10 minutes, or until you are no longer wearing the armor. Once it's used, it cannot be used again until the next dawn.
Oh, shit.
Fancy.
However, an armor of invulnerability does not grant you a +1, a +2, or a +3 to your AC. No bonus, I believe. Or if anything, it's a +1. I'd have to actually double check on that. But I believe it's a flat 18 because of how strong it is. Not the first time the party's seen one either. Jade might even get a bit of a flashback.
Yeah,
The dragon.
Yeah.
The paladin used it, and the dragon threw him off the cliff, and then we killed the dragon with a bow.
I linked that one up on a random page inside there from D&D Beyond, the Armor of Invulnerability. It's a really nice suit, but it just gives you the 18 armor, no bonuses. And just keep in mind, magical damage cuts right through it, whether or not you activate its power.
And we fight a lot of magical
awesome.
abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember that time, Jade, I threw a paladin off a cliff wearing one?
Yeah.
He's like, invulnerable mode, hits the ground. I'm like, alright, start climbing, it's 300 feet. It's like, shit. Dragon's like, I killed him.
We finished the fight before he got back, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he didn't die, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, I didn't have to go down and drag a dead body back.
As for the short
But
sword,
a dead body would be easier because then he can just put them in bag holding.
I don't think we had one at the time. It would have been a real pain.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
We had Chompy at the time. He would have been.
Yeah, we can't feed our dead ally to Chompy.
oh Chompy, he's gotten a lot of good meals out of this campaign. So as for that regard, for the short sword, it is a +2 vicious short sword. Too many S's. Oh god. +2 vicious short sword. As a +2 vicious blade, it will deal an extra 2d6 points of damage if you should ever roll a 20 while wielding it, and it's a +2 short sword. Oh, someone's walking by with a little puppy. That's wearing a jacket, a big fluffy winter jacket. I
Aww.
looked out my window with perfect timing, and he looks so happy. He's just bouncing along with his head tilting side to side.
He must be one of the small puppies, isn't he?
Yes, the small
Aww.
puppies. They need the extra warmth, but he looks so happy. But I digress. So Bellamy has identified the 2 pieces of gear. I'm not sure if there is a version of the vicious short sword at +2. I'm just putting its description down. It's 2d6 extra damage on a nat 20, not on a critical. Let me clarify that. They're smart to not trigger things on crits anymore, because people are like, oh, I'm a crit bank. I'm a crit fisher. Gonna get the big damage. It's like, now just roll 20. We all remember back in 3.5. It's like, I roll 16 to 20, I get a crit. It's like, that's a 25% crit chance. That's crazy. But I'm getting off topic. There's your pieces of gear. If you can't find that piece of gear and someone ends up using it, let me know. I'll make a homebrew item for it. It's all goodies off the random loot draw tables, especially that Armor of Invulnerability. It doesn't come up very often. It's a pretty rare loot draw, so I like seeing it. As for Bell's Forge. Oh right, Fluminox's was still huge back then. We have to reconfigure. I'm just going to delete and put your mini back on here. It's easier than trying to fix it. There's Flux. As you land your ship nearby, with the magpies giving you both a nod as you get off, one speaks up in Barnabas's voice. We will stay here and guard the vehicles. One magpie looks at the other, smacks him. He nods his head, says, vehicle.
Thank you, guys.
Both of them, with the opposite arms, so it looks like it's super wide, give you a thumbs up with one feather. And true to their nature, they're already working on the ship. They're checking out the controls, tightening, tuning, fixing up, you know, all the little pieces of standard maintenance. And they're squawking at each other the whole time. And they look so excited, so happy. Meanwhile, the little red cap has taken a seat on Bellamy's shoulder. Eduga. Just flops there.
One day, Jade will attune to that sword.
Oh, that +2 short sword?
No.
The airship.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, the airship's literally built on the blade of a flying sword, so... You find yourselves once again outside the gates of Bell's Forge. As Jade's staring at this summoned to be my day's giant sword.
Why is Rhea little?
Because she was minimized at the same time that Flux was maximized.
Oh,
And she's
okay.
like, I'll still arm wrestle you.
Right,
I'll
okay.
still wrestle you.
I'm gonna arm wrestle you, I'm gonna show you how why are you so big. Oh, hell. Then you talk, she's covering your ears. Be quiet, you're too loud. Turn into a high pitch. That's about as close as I'm gonna be able to get to something like that. I can need like some vocoder and then like, I don't know, have a skateboarding accident to cause my voice to go higher pitched, if you know what I'm saying. Slip and hit a rail. Looney Tunes style. That'd do it, right? There's one thing Looney Tunes taught me, violence will solve all problems. And if that doesn't work, be awesome like Bugs Bunny. I've gone off topic again. As you approach Bell's Forge, let me switch back over to that window. Because I still need to reference the book for a lot of this stuff so I don't make a mistake. It is a I cannot talk today. A gargantuan volcano dominating the horizon, as you know, that you've landed on. Fire and ash continue to spew forth as Bell forges inside. Now there are an army of devils around now. You can see horned devils, 2 of them, each leading their own procession of 10 bearded devils. In fact, they took notice of you when you came in this time. They weren't there the previous time, most likely probably having a good time somewhere in Avernus. But this time, they took notice of your arrival. One even gave a nod indicating where you should land your vehicle before moving on, circling still around the gates in the entry zone. You would imagine normally to be a worse time dealing with them, but since you already have prior dealings, they know what to expect.
Oh, Alan, sorry, I'm just going over my spells while you do this. And I realize, for Tasha's, we have cantrip formulas. It's an optional feature. I'm allowed to use that one, right? It lets me change my cantrips on long rest.
Changing out your cantrips on long rests.
Yeah.
Yeah, so long as it's just a basic thing that's added on and not something you have to give up in your level up tree progression, yeah, by all means.
Yeah, no, it was just an added to the
They
thing.
tweak
Thank you.
a little bit of everything with everything, so long as it's an available feature for your class, by all means. I don't go with the stuff that's still in playtest, but Tasha added a lot for spellcasters.
Yeah, that's what I thought, which is what I always like to double check before when it says optional rule.
Oh, yeah. Optional rule, i.e., here's some new rules. Learn them. That's how I read them. Sometimes I'll be like, that optional rule is whack, but I think it's only happened like once, and even then, I like it when they add them. Like the last time they did this was the book with the Beholder. Oh fudge.
Xanathar?
Photos guide to everything. Oh,
Xanathar's Guide to Everything. That one. They put in a whole bunch of nice added rules I liked. Then they added the rules for naval combat. This next one's a nice jump up. They're being very clever with 5th, taking their time and expanding it slowly so people want to keep playing it. Oh, look, new stuff. It's like the next expansion. Welcome to World of Warcraft Cataclysm. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons Cataclysm. But again, I digress. As the party makes their way into the forge, you may remember last time I didn't have the map made. This time, however, I certainly do. I'll bring Flux, Bellamy, and Alec. I try to go just alphabetical for whoever's whoever. Just so y'all can see the map. I forgot to set the initial position correctly, so it's going to throw you all to the top left corner. Once you're all loaded in. do we? Where'd my player list go? That's peculiar. Yeah, we're all on there. You know, I have a listing in the bottom left corner showing all the players. Mine done disappeared. I see more of the map this way, which is great, but now I have a harder time seeing if someone disconnects from the map itself. So by all means, give me a heads up if something like that happens. Okay, where was I here? Right. The interior of the forge. Now, I don't have the minis put on the map for them, but the interior, as mentioned, is carved out of volcanic rock and has soaring 50-foot-high ceilings throughout. It also has the heat, unbearably hot, but you all have resistance to fire, so you have no trouble. Lots of lava going through the area. And in the first area here you're in, this is where there is a wrought iron spiral staircase. That's the one that descends into the cavernous forge. Channels of bubbling lava wind through the complex, casting fiery light over huge anvils. Chain giants with cloaked black skin and fiery orange hair hammer out weapons under the malignant gaze of a pit fiend seated in a flying throne. Throughout the forge, sparks fall like rain. And of course, the pit fiend is Bell. You've already met him once before. The fire giants, there are 4 of them. I believe I've already linked up their picture, but I'm going to do that again because they look awesome. It's like, hey, look, it's Ganondorf. But they are very, very big creatures, fire giants. Classified as huge and very strong. With 4 of them in here and Bell himself in a floating chair. As you all slowly walk in. Oh, did you take your mad cap or your red cap with you?
No, I would have left him on the ship.
Dog just sits down on the ship. He gives a nod. Oh, hey, and pats you once on the shoulder and gives a thumbs up. Proud nod. You see at one point, he looks over at the monodrone as it walks by and he whacks it upside the back of the head, which gives him the weirdest look. And he's like, "Atadugu!" Gives it a shove. It looks cranky at him. Shakes a fist. The first time you've seen an emotional response and it walks by. He shakes his head. And you see Dagu picks up a mop from the ground and follows behind the monodrone, cleaning the floor.
I'm very proud.
Sure enough, the monodrone's feet are leaving some dirt. It seems he stepped off for a second, but yeah, he's just cleaning away right behind him obsessively. Inside the forge,
Incredible.
Bell in his floating chair will take a moment to turn to face the party. Floating down. And just so you all can see, I'm going to throw a picture up of what they gave for the interior of the forge versus the picture that we're using. As soon as it works. What do you mean my files are too powerful? Damn you, Discord. Okay, how about this one? Nope, I can do a link though. That should work. Yeah, I love tricking Discord. That's the game map, to give you an idea. I don't mind that it's listing all the letters. This is mostly for cosmetic values that we have. So you see that it's pretty close. I really give a thumbs up to them for this one. Pogs did a great job on this map. Especially the War Machine chains. I love it. But I'm getting off the topic at this point, and that's not good. He floats over in his chair as you all approach in, drilling fingers on one side, and extends out a hand. He goes, I see. You have returned. Have you wasted more of my time, or did you bring for me my skull?
Oh, we brought the skull.
Oh,
We did
wonderful.
the thing.
You did the thing, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Here comes his meowing. My cat's going nuts. Sorry. You'll hear her probably. He gives a nod. He's like, wonderful. Well then, hand it over, and I will gladly tell you, adventurers, where to go next. I'll give you a hint. It's to hell. Ha 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 ha.
I don't know who has the skull.
One of us has it for sure.
I think Flux, you did the handshake with the lich, so he
Yeah.
probably handed it to you.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll
taken it to do an identify, so it could
Oh,
be anyone's
that's
hands
right.
now.
Alright, yeah, so Bellamy was the last one.
Okay.
Elmi was playing with it after it was identified, doing the whole.
Oh, that's right.
She was pulling a ratio with it. It was very nice.
Yeah.
She like.
So I
tilted
guess
it at
I
the
have it.
middle. 10 points for Bill.
I'll hold it up to him.
He pauses, and you see a look of distaste on his face, and he says, "Of course it would be you." As the chair floats down, he extends his hand out, and you feel a pull on the skull. It will float away from your hand unless you grip it, floating towards him. And, without further ado, it will float through the air, land in his hand, and he will look completely and utterly disappointed, disgusted, and angry in one go as you see his fingers clench so hard the skull cracks in them, though it doesn't break. "Yes, it is indeed the skull of a lich." As he looks at the party, he glares a little bit. "Not quite the one I was looking for. It would have been more wonderful, as you say. But here we are. I suppose that the beggar cannot be the chooser, now can they?" And he starts muttering something under his breath about having to deal with a lich later and failed options and having to be more specific. Gives his head a shake. Casually sets the skull down to the side. Drums his fingers together as you see he's thinking very carefully now. But he doesn't outwardly speak as he's staring at you all. Just thinking, it seems.
We don't read minds.
I am quite aware, which is a good thing for me, as I may formulate my words correctly this time. As you know what you did there. You know why I sent you there. You could tell what I sent you for. And yet, you found a loophole. And he continues to drum his fingers together in front of his face, before entwining all of them except both pointer fingers, which rise up at his nose. Alright. I will be quite specific then. The next, what you must find for me is the egg of a sphinx. But not just any sphinx. You cannot just bring me the egg of any sphinx. There is one very specific, ancient monstrosity of a sphinx, who sits upon the grave of the Hell Riders. Go to where they fell. Find me the egg. You will have to climb a mountain, however, for it. I feel your friend who had the wings, who was with you before, as he extends a hand, who you now seem to have misplaced, would probably have made a comment of no problem. He seems to pause for a second as he rubs his chin. However, was there not one more with you? Regardless.
What the fuck?
Waves his hand. Regardless. You will climb this mountain, and be cautious as you do, for the winds upon it are of such incroyable strength. They will most certainly throw you, should you attempt to fly. I would not bring that vessel of yours too close, either. For a long time, she was stranded there, until your audacious monk of a friend, the leader of Hellrider, decided he would resuscitate the vessel, and managed to drag it out of there himself. Be cautious on your way, adventurer, for I am certain that the Sphinx will most likely attempt to annihilate you. It awaits the righteous heroes on the legendary mission to come to it for the information to be granted. Let me be very clear, as he leans forward on his chair. That is not you all. So you will most likely be drawing the ire of this Sphinx. Good luck. You'll have quite the battle. And I know there is only one Sphinx specific on top of the air. I know that Sphinx is permeating the tornado that spins around the mountain. And I know it has eggs. So bring me one of its eggs. Any other will not suffice. Do you understand?
How would you know the difference?
I would know the difference, but it is a legend of a sphinx up there, not a standard sphinx. And he waves a hand. In all honesty, the odds of you finding a second Sphinx in the area is so unbelievably slim and not worth mentioning. However, I thought the same about a Lich's skull, and here we have, and he holds it up and does the same thing Bellamy was doing with the mouth, talking as he talks. Here we have it, another Lich's skull, just for me, and he sets it down. So yes, this time I will be very specific. You will get me the egg from the Sphinx on top that is presently creating the tornado around the mountain, and bring that back to me. Whether or not you must slay the Sphinx? He gives a shrug. I could care less. It is not my problem. I merely require the egg. After you have returned, I will tell you where the third ingredient is. And you will fetch it for me as well, and then our dealings will be complete.
You are self-forging.
He gives a slow, hearty chuckle. Indeed, I do, perhaps. Have you figured out something worth my time?
Lux will hold up her sword. Well, this got cracked.
The mace.
Hammer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hammer.
what I meant to say.
The maul.
Sorry. I'm drawing, so I'm not good at multitasking. I apologize.
No worries. I knew exactly where you were going with it, though. And he'll
No,
tilt
no,
his
just to confirm, are you drawing a sword?
I'm trying to finish coloring in a picture of Flux I drew a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay. I was just really curious because it would have been ironic. It would have made sense.
He'll
Yeah.
tilt his head as he looks over the cracked and damaged mace. Hammer. Smile growing wide. Ah, yes, I could easily repair that. In fact, as he points to one of the giants, I would get one of them to do it under my guidance. It would be a wonderful training for him. The giant looks somewhat offended as he looks back. Bell just waves a hand. He looks away again.
It's a pretty
Training, Greg. Looks back at you.
it's a pretty baller move to get a giant to reforge the giant slayer
Yep.
mace.
You nailed it. But yes, I could fix such a minor weapon. That is beneath me for certain. But I could have it repair. However, the process, and he holds up 2 fingers, would take 2 days. Due to the nature of the magics. And I'll probably have to spend a day whooping that giant. You understand?
Can you make it so it doesn't
No,
break
okay.
when you reforge it?
Us too.
To Jade's question, I'll pop that one up first because I did hear Courtney and I did hear Jillian for a sec.
I was just making fun.
He'll tilt his head to the side when to the other direction when Jade says, "Make it so it cannot be broken." He says, "Can you make an indestructible wall?" "No, I will always be able to break through it." "Can you make a blade that will not corrode through the corruption of Avernus?" "Show me such a blade, so I might learn of such a method. But as far as we know down here, it is impossible to do such a thing. So no, I cannot create a blade that will not corrupt to Avernus. However, a blade forged from Elsteel and in Elfire, wielded by the hand of evil. We don't have that problem. That is merely something you foolish heroes who step onto my soil down here must contend with. Good luck to thee." So as confirmed, he can most certainly repair that hammer in record time. Even views it as beneath himself, which really makes you wonder what sort of stuff he's able to forge. The blade beside himself reeks with incredible power, but probably isn't that strong because he's just a creature. You know how this is. What he views as strong might not be strong. I mean, the sword only does like 46 plus 9 plus 66 fire plus 66 plus 16. But I didn't say that.
Then I will change my question to, can you make it a +2?
To increase the power? You see, these are 2 separate things you have now asked for. In one you have said, "Can you repair it?" I say yes. Now you say, "Can you improve it?" I say yes. And he smiles evilly. But I can only do one. Either is a full part of my capacity. So I would increase its power for you, but it would still remain damaged. Or I can fix it. But I will not do both, for I only owe you a single favor. In that regard.
Well, I mean, it sounds like if he repairs it, he said it wouldn't break anymore.
Oh no, he implied that he cannot make a weapon that's indestructible. But for fiends and devils and things wielding evil weapons made of hellfire and
Alright,
hellsteel,
it's
those don't have that problem in Avernus. Only
okay.
good weapons wielded by good people seem to have that trouble. So he basically said, not my problem, good luck. But if you find a way to make a blade indestructible, let him know, because he might be able to learn how to do it himself. Not that that's any
Alright.
guarantee he'd do it for you guys, but
I thought he was implying that he would use infernal metal to repair it. Okay.
if he did that, it would become a weapon that it could only be wielded by an evil character, which wouldn't help you out any, you know?
Yeah.
We could give it to Duga.
A Duga. Him wielding like this little 3-foot guy with a 12-foot sword. I got this.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Lux will just kind of sidebar with the rest of the team and be like, "Well, we don't have to fix this. If he's promising to forge us something, maybe there's something that's going to be more worthwhile for us for him to forge."
I will.
Yeah, we
also
can always
say,
wait.
just as a fun thought, Flux is a blacksmith in her back nature, if I recall. Pardon me.
He's right. You are right. So if he made it a +2, that did occur to me. So if he made it a +2, I could finish repairing it.
You,
Theoretically?
with Nimbar's magical help, could repair a magical weapon, but it would take considerably longer than 2 days, weeks, for you to repair a magical weapon with Nimbar's help. And it would be an everyday job. It would take you at least a week, maybe 2. Depends on your rolls. I actually do rolls for the magical weapons. I figured out an easy way to repair them, but that also can take more time depending on how efficient you are in your repair jobbies.
If you bring that to Nimbar's attention, Nimbar will be like, "I would be happy to help, of course."
It's like, that sounds fun. I haven't built a magic weapon in 2 centuries.
So, like, would it have to be? And I'm just asking this because I don't know how it works necessarily, like meta knowledge wise. So, like, could we work on it for, like, if we have 2 days of travel, could we put 2 days worth of work into it?
Oh yeah.
And then pause it,
Keeping
and
in
then
mind
work
that
another couple.
while you're putting days into working on this, you can't be piloting vehicles or anything like that. But I do believe,
Yeah.
Jade, you can fully pilot on your own, right? I think everybody who was training can now.
Me, Alec, and Flux can do it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So,
Nimbar has not even tried because Nimbar's time is more useful doing other things.
and Courtney, for Bellamy, I will mention, if you don't have land vehicle training or water vehicle training, you can obtain that in my games by being taught by another player. Anybody remember the time frame I gave for that?
No.
It's been forever. I think it was like 3 long rests of training.
Okay.
So if you did 3 long rests of training with somebody who is trained for those vehicles, you'd be able to learn one of the two vehicles. 6 long rests worth of training, so 6 days spent training. You could learn both. In order to pilot the airship, you need 3 characters who have to have a combination of land and water vehicle. If everyone's only land vehicles, you couldn't pilot the ship. It requires the hand of someone who has mastered the sea to control the back rudder, and someone who knows the land to control the vehicle itself. However, if you are the rare character with both of those, which can be trained, you can pilot the vessel solo. Which is why the team put a lot of work into that, so that 3 of them can solo pilot. Usually, even with that, one's guarding the rudder and one's got the sail.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
okay.
Nimbar just stays in his little office, writing and writing and writing.
Lost your license.
300 years, I haven't driven a cart yet, and someone drives those for me.
Kinda.
In the land of Faerun, they have mandatory retesting.
After 200 years, the vision ain't so good, he fails. You may not drive cart, stamp, reject. He's like, fine, I'm a clone a younger version of myself and revive. Hey,
Didn't you just come in?
mean. I'm like, they made the joke, I just followed.
Didn't you just come in? Yeah, but that was old me.
Oh, and keep in mind that clone body is only like 100 50 years old, I believe I said. It's
Yeah.
young, so something to keep in mind, and that's not something you can normally do with the clone spell. It makes a carbon copy. Your carbon copy is dated.
Clone can reduce it, but not by that much.
No, it can't turn you into the prime of your character's life, essentially.
Yeah.
That was a specific feature of the mirror. That was its design. It can create a clone of any spellcaster that it sees. But it also
was
used
it
it in
just
a really creepy...
spellcasters?
Yeah, that's why it did it in a super creepy manner, though. It's like, I'm gonna mess with these players. Haha. They're like, we're gonna break you. And it's like, please don't. I'm just a thing. But I digress again. So with that, Bell has...
I forget. Was the mirror, like, attached to the wall? Could we have taken it?
It was stuck there. There was some degree of movement and stuff, but it was stuck there. It was a nice little creature. Fun thing. It was just meant to be a confusing moment. Mad Maggie was having her jollies. She's like, oh, I might want to make a copy of my body theory so I can come back to life. And then she's like, nothing will ever kill me. The audacity of villains. They have to be a little dumb. But now with that, Bell has given you the location of the next item he seeks. It's not to be mistaken for the crypt of the Hell Riders. No. Specifically, this is where the Hell Riders fell in combat.
Do we know where that is?
Roughly, he's pointed it out on the map.
Okay.
It's kind of back in the way you came. Near the Sunder Chains, in fact. Slightly south of that. South of where the Stygian Dock is. Tell you what, I'll activate the map. Wow, that's a quick swap over. Oh, I have the grid on the map. Oh well. You can all see the map, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't have your minis, but I have vision enabled. It would be approximately here. Somewhere in this range of area. This is where the battle between the Hell Riders and the fiendish forces of Avernus met. The devils, fiends as they are. Not to be mistaken with the demons, which come from the River Styx and fight the devils. Because, yeah, that's not an easy thing to frig up. Thanks. So the devils are here, the fiends come from the River Styx. And your location that you've been asked to go to is down this way. Where the Hell Riders fell.
So not too far from Mad Maggie's.
Not too bad, no. I'm just switching back to Bell's Forge on the interior. It's a smaller map, loads quickly. And he says, and that is where you will go to find the egg. And do not putter around. And be careful. I would not want any of you, getting hurt. Oh, yes. Please, do kill yourself while you're gone. Save me the time.
I mean, you can laugh, Belle, but we're doing you a huge favor here, man. So I don't know who's gonna go running around doing your errands for you if we pass away.
Greg, you see the giant slowly looks over his shoulder at Bell, and he nods. He says, "You keep in mind, you're the one who has to go do it if they fail." And he looks, and you see the giant turns despite the chains. He puts his hands together, bows his head down, and says, "I will pray for the victory and safety of your campaign." Bell throws his hands up. God damn it, Greg! You lazy son of a...
You're a real one, Greg.
I like Greg.
So, do we want to leave the hammer here and just get him to make it a +2?
Yeah.
Is that okay with you guys? Because I'm fine with, getting another item.
There is literally nothing for a druid at a forge, so I have no input here.
Things I want are not.
Yeah,
really
I don't
found
mind.
Here.
Okay. All right, then I'll hand over the.
Ray holds a finger up.
Give me the hammer of thunderbolts.
But the head thing gets
Rhea?
handed over. Yeah, she's only joking though. Like, I have reservations. What are they? He's bad. That's it.
Or
we know that, Ray. Passing it over.
I just had a spark of inspiration, though I can't imagine it would be too imbalanced. We could get him to tack a plus onto that armor of invulnerability, but I don't. That seems to be pushing things.
We could do that the second time. He owes us for every favor we do for him, he owes us one item forged, right?
Nope.
I thought that's what it was.
No. You guys only tricked him into agreeing to a singular item reforge at the very get-go. The deal is, if you guys want to know where the swords are, you got to get him 3 ingredients. That was it.
No, I specifically said for every item we bring back, we get an item forged.
Ooh.
It definitely was that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to the other conversation on that one then, so I can catch which words were used precisely. Because Belle's an asshole. I'll be honest. I'll look that one up for next week.
Well, of course he's an asshole. He's like the former ruler of hell.
Yep.
If I'm wrong, I'll apologize for it.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the recording because I don't think he agreed to more than one item because he wouldn't have. He would have just been like, "This is already a kindness."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did by mistake.
I may have to check just to hear how that one went down.
Okay. Anyway, we'll put that in our back pocket for now and head toward the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I will say though, I could probably pay for another 10 minutes or so, but I asked Mom and my sister want to go for a walk, so I said I would maybe split the difference. She was like, "Can you finish at 1?" I'm like, "I can maybe finish at 1:30."
How about we say 1:30 then for a cut for today?
Okay, if that's fine with everyone.
Not if
Yeah.
everyone's good for that. 'Cause I mean,
Sure.
you're just about ready. And you know what?
Okay, perfect.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that Belle agreed to one item for each thing you bring back. In retrospect, as I thought about it, he actually could have agreed to that with the way things went. Now that I stop and think about it, might have put my foot in my mouth. So I'm gonna say one item can be touched upon like that for every time you return.
I definitely seem to remember like high persuasion rolls. And I definitely didn't just pull that information out of my butt. I was under the impression that we were getting 3 items.
We all
from
were, so.
I trust you, and to be honest, I'm really not in the mood to go read through and listen for it again. You can all can't blame me for that. I like to watch
No,
them
of course.
as a reference. Though someone watched it, I don't know who they were, and they posted, "Hey, what system do you guys use?" I'm like, "Foundry VTT. Here's all the info. Thank you for watching." My one viewer. I looked at the video.
My first comment ever.
And the worst of it is they
All right.
copyrighted that video, so I'm like, "You arseholes, you're trying to take the money from the one person, my one fan." So Belle takes your hammer, or spins it around in one hand. He says, "Ah, yes, it is a fine weapon. I will most certainly repair the handle for you." Gave a nod. "Best of luck."
Oh, no.
Or
Wait,
I will
it's my-
certainly
it's
increase
my-
it to +2 for you.
Yes.
I will
Yeah, okay.
certainly create
There
it
we go.
so the weapon will strike truer. I will need to reforge the head somewhat and curve it inward so it concaves through the air, but she will spin faster and strike the enemy's harder like a true monstrosity it is.
Thank you very much.
He gets a disgusted look on his face. Do not
I
say those
figured you
words
would.
here. You greet me like you would everyone else with a snide remark and move on. Do not say, "Thank you" to me. God.
Hey, Belle. Go
God.
fuck yourself.
Ah, there we are, thank you. And you too, dearie. The most wonderful times on Avernus to you all. So with that then, I assume the party heads off.
Yeah, I don't see
Yeah.
why not.
Yeah.
So the travel, as mentioned, is quite far due to the downward angle, and as you grow closer, Bellamy, as you look over, you notice that the day that has gone by since the last time you saw the sticks, they've receded even further. And I'm going to do another 12-hour jump because it's now closer. Put that back on. You find yourselves flying overhead. A rather interesting place. It was very clear a massive battle had taken place here. And I don't think I have your minis on the map, my bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and slap them around the middle, starting with Bellamy. The area itself is exceedingly large. Lava pits here and there, along with piles of rusted, damaged machinery. Oh, this may not have been quite the map I wanted to use for that. Oh well, it'll do. I'm still putting some players out on the map here. Where was I? Jade. So now I need to get Nimbar. And I need to get Rhea, just so you can see everyone. I'm not too worried about the extras right now. As you fly over this zone, covered in stone and the scars of battle, two things beyond everything else stand out to you. You'd probably notice the first actually upon landing, putting your feet on the soil and feeling the hard winds press, being unable to bring the airship any closer, for the wind's too strong from a massive tornado which appears to stretch all the way to the sky out of view, burning in the land, right here in this relatively flat spot I'm indicating on the map. I'll put a large circle diagram on that, because this map is very large. Oops, wrong spot. There it is.
Oh, how long was the flight, by the way?
A full day, or a full 12 hours. It's now 7 p.m.
Okay. Alright, so I get 2 spells.
With that in mind, you notice the thing you would notice upon landing mostly, among the debris and the metal, torn remnants from a war a century ago where the Hellriders made their last stand against the monstrosities of Avernus. Those of you who remember the flashback Mad Maggie gave you, when you remember seeing the fall through their eyes, you're standing upon the grounds of a memory now. Land you remember by the look of it. But what stands out is the crater in this zone. Relatively wide, maybe about 35 feet across and very concave. And you can see the fetid, rotted remains of a pit fiend, tattoos clinging to their body in very specific fashion. Everyone except Courtney and John, go ahead and roll me a perception check. Or a knowledge history check. I should point that out. Jade got his perception check off the 28, so... Rhea doesn't get a roll for this either. She wouldn't know this.
That was me. If for some reason it's using Rhea's picture, but it says Alec.
Maybe you had her clicked when you did it and it used you instead. That's a very pretty Alec.
You just don't know what it looks like underneath the beard.
Shaves it down, he's like Kevin Costner or something. He's like, hey, baby. God. No, we're Sean Connery. There we go. Let's go all out if we're going for the manly man. He will always be the manly man. Even if you don't like Connery, I love him. And he was a picture that they used for the previous campaign, so, you know. Zarzod. I'll never get that out of my head. Regardless, Flux doesn't notice it right off, but Jade and Alec, upon glancing at it, and the second they mention it, Flux would be like, oh yeah. Without a doubt, that's the remains of the Pit Fiend Lazareth, previous First Lord of Hell. The one that Dusty flew into the portal with.
I was just gonna take a moment and just kind of quietly take it in.
Alec would probably go up and look closer.
And it's busted and badly broken. The body's been through a hell of a fight before it fell, though now it's quite rotted. The remains are starting to creep away and turn into ichor. But it is certainly a Pit Fiend's remains, and Xurith's at that. Dusty did mention he took it down, but he only got lucky and took it down from the air, so... Apparently, this is what happens when you fall from 500 feet straight up.
How much of this map are we supposed to be able to see?
Oh, I don't have any restrictions on it. You probably can only see as far as your character's vision, so you know what? Let me enable global illumination so you can see the whole of the map.
Oh, okay, I was just curious because you were describing different things and all I can see is the ring around us. And I'm like, I'm not seeing this on the map.
Yeah, limited vision range for our dungeons, but you should see the full map now, including the blogs. I love this guy. He or she, I'm not actually sure. I think it was a guy. Does some great maps. From what I remember, it was a guy. I don't even know, though. You can't really tell from a Patreon site sometimes. It's like, user Valhama Kanakalaku. It's like, oh, okay. Is that a character of yours? Yep, cool. Beyond that, you don't notice anything else specific about the Pit Fiend. It's just had... This is where it's finally met its fate. You do know anything killed in Avernus, if it's a fiend like that, the end meets it. It reaches oblivion when they die here. Beyond that...
To be that guy.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
I just said sucks to be that guy.
Yep. Everyone looking... Well, the three characters looking on solemnly. Bellamy walks by. Huh? Sucks to be him. As for Bellamy, who will probably be looking around, I'll give you the heads up on it. It was that big flat area over here that I mentioned. I put a bit of a coloring on it. Exceedingly large tornado is landed there, continually stuck in place, the wind itself pushing you from where you are now. Attempting to fly would be paramount to suicide at this moment. But you have been advised by Bell that it surrounds a mountain, and at the top of said mountain, you'll find the Sphinx with the egg that he's looking for. Well, we've got about 4 minutes. I've given you a little lay of an outline here, in case anybody wants to do anything wonky. How about we cut it here then, and kick back next week? That way Flux can leave a little early too. Jillian can have her nice walk with the fan, because that's always a nice thing to do, and it's good weather for it. It's actually 1 degree.
Yeah. I know, 1 whole degree.
Here in Canada, that's summer. I love it.
It's nice.
Meanwhile, Dean's laughing like, let me tell you about back home.
No, Canada's colder than Scotland.
Yeah. I'll admit Upper Cape Breton has the look of it, just without the sheep, but we're colder.
Yeah, definitely. Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
What colour is the rock dotted around here?
Let me zoom
Like-
out. Oh, like this stuff here, you mean? Just in general?
Yeah, like, is it black or...
Some of it blackened and scarred, some of it brown and neutral. Just dirt. Most of it, nothing grows here. This is a war zone. The battle that went here raged so hard that it decimated the land. Which makes sense. Hellrider's last stand. Zerial, an angel, fell here. This area has been permanently blighted. It gives your druid sense the willies.
Okay.
Nothing good would come of this place. Nothing good could ever grow here again. No good could hold this land without something amazingly good being done here. An angel, a celestial, fell from grace here. And it shows. Fiends and devils and monstrosities avoid this area. You've never seen somewhere in Avernus, besides the roaring wind, so oddly quiet.
Were you wondering if it was obsidian, Dean?
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, I was wondering if it was obsidian, but we've also heard a couple of prophecies about black rocks.
Yep.
Or black rock.
When you hear the bells of Blackrock, well, you have gone too far, and you'll have to destroy the world under your feet to save anybody.
Okay.
As for obsidian, there actually is obsidian here. Lava stone, obsidian. So there's definitely obsidian around the edges of the lava area, and through some of the areas it's cascaded. If I said no to that, I'd be lying against physics, so...
Yeah.
Whether or not it's bad obsidian, well...
By the way, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking about this. Nimbar would be keeping his scrolls somewhere easy for people to get at. So if someone needed to come get one off him, would it be possible to get a channel so I can just put it there so that way everyone can see what scrolls he has on him? Because like Bellamy can cast a couple of the ones he has made. Dean can cast fog cloud.
That, or we might be able to use either the journal or item entry inside of Foundry itself. Let me look into that.
Okay.
I'll figure out something cool for you for next week. Because if I can link it inside of Foundry, you can cast the spell right away.
Yeah, that would be cool. I just wanted a way for everyone to see what I have available.
And with the Discord channel, you can always edit it. So let me sit on that one. I'll see if I can toss something in. Just 1 second.
Right.
It's easy enough to add a channel under Conqueror of Avernus. Let's see here. There you go.
Yeah, because I was looking at it, and
just
would I
added
also
the
make
bar
them?
spells. Hopefully that'll make things easier. But as for us, I'm going to go ahead and call it because it is 1:30 and I did promise that to Jillian. We will kick up next week as you all start a horrendous climb on a volcano, on the top of a volcano. No, not a volcano. On top of a mountain covered in a tornado. Specifically so you can't fly because the DM's an arsehole.
Well, thank you guys very much. I'm gonna duck out. And I'll see you all next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
We'll see you all next
Thanks,
time.
Alan.
Thank
Oh,
you.
anytime. You have yourselves a great one.
8.
See you guys.
Later.
Have a good night.
Bye.
There we are.